Margo from Bennett's Restaurants. Who says Mondays have to be boring? At Bennett's, Mondays are made for wine and dine. For just $65, enjoy 2 full entrees, 2 salads, and a bottle of wine. Perfect for date night or dinner with a friend. That's a complete dinner for 2 with wine. Treat yourself to our crave-worthy favorites, like our prawn linguine or short rib with mashed potatoes. Join us this Monday in Roseville, Rockland, or Sacramento. Reserve now at bennettsrestaurants.com. Make Monday the new fun day at Bennett's.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed, nearly 60% earn 6-figure incomes, 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
Yes, a Monday. I love Mondays. We talk football. We talk basketball. We talk about everything in sports right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hope you had a great weekend, everybody. Boy, if you are a fan of the 49ers, how many injuries can you withstand and keep winning? Another big injury. Nick Bosa, torn ACL, out for the year. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And you talk about a team winning ugly, that's the 49ers, but they are winning. And it seems like, whoever goes down, the next guy steps up, and they get the job done. So, man, this is really hard to take if you are a fan of the 49ers. So let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the game coming up tonight at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. We're going to talk a lot of NFL, particularly here in the first hour. I've got a great week coming for you. Doug McDermott of the Kings today at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow, Steve Sands from NBC Sports and the Golf Channel to preview the Ryder Cup. Sean Salisbury. Wednesday, Byron Scott. Thursday, we've got Chris Landry. We've got Steve Albert and many other guests that I think are going to pop up between now and then. So I'm really excited about this week. I'm excited to talk football and get you ready for the start of NBA training camp, which is right around the corner. And, of course, we'll be zeroing in on that. And, again, we'll get a little sneak preview today with Doug McDermott. Again, that is coming up at 4 o'clock. Kings Media Day, by the way, is on the 29th. How about that? Man, a week from today. That's crazy, isn't it? A week from today. All right, so let's get back to the NFL. So the 49ers. They just find ways to win. They found a way to win against Seattle, where I didn't think they played an A-level game. They then go to New Orleans. Mac Jones' first game. No George Kittle. Receivers down. They find a way to win the game. They come home. First home game. Arizona Cardinals. Sloppy game. Low-scoring game. A game of defense. They get the stop when they need to. And Mac Jones gets the team in field goal position. Panero, the game winner. And the Niners are 3-0. But now you lose Nick Bosa. And the question is, how many injuries can this 49ers team withstand and keep just going on and on and on? Arizona, Seattle, and the Rams, all 2-1. I think Seattle is very good this year. I think the Rams are very good this year. And they're going to see the Rams in a short period of time. So if you're a 49ers fan, give me your thoughts on Nick Bosa at 916-779-0929. Then you get to the Raiders. Horrible special teams. Just awful. Horrible tackling. And they go on the road and they lose. And not only did they lose to go to 1-2, but you're now 2 games behind the Chargers, who found a way to win against Denver. I'm going to talk more about that game in a minute. But I'm watching the Raiders game, and the special teams were awful, but the tackling was terrible. You know, you're facing a backup quarterback in Marcus Mariota. You had an opportunity, and you don't play very well, plain and simple. And I was a little skeptical about this game because of the Monday night. It's tough to play a home game on a Monday night and then a game on the other side of the country on Sunday. It was not the best scheduling, but that's just the way it goes. So now they are 1-2. Now I want to get to the Chargers. They lose Najee Harris for the year. Terrible injury with him if you were watching the game. You know what? The Chargers are really good. Justin Herbert, what a 3 weeks he's had, huh? You watch that game? I mean, Justin Herbert is in the best stretch that I've ever seen him in his NFL career. But again, you lose the running back, Najee Harris. You know, again, it was a non-contact injury. Did you watch the game? Second quarter, play action. And you knew right away it was an Achilles. He's never missed a game in his NFL career. He was very durable, but he's out as the Chargers go to New York to take on the awful New York Giants coming up this week. But if you're looking at the AFC West right now, make no mistake about it. Say what you want about the Chiefs. The Chiefs just did not look good to me. The Chargers look good to me. They look good on offense. They look good on defense. And I want to tell you, Sean Payton, I don't know what he's thinking about as he's coaching this game. It made no sense to me. You got 4th and a half yard. You have to get to your own 30. I understand you're deep in your territory. You know what? If I have to tell my team, can you make a half yard to try and win the game? Now, I'm not saying they would have won the game, but it would have given them a much better opportunity. They had the momentum. You got the ball. You don't want to give the ball to the Chargers in that situation. You have a half yard to go to make a first down. Go for it. Show your team and your offense that you have some confidence in them. I'm watching the game, and I did not understand that. That did not make any sense to me. Half a yard. That's it, half a yard. So what happens? You punt the ball away? You're going to put the game in the hands of your defense? Stupid 15-yard, unnecessary roughness for throwing a receiver down. And that was the correct call. And the Chargers do what they have to do, and they find a way to win the game. That's 2 really bad losses in back-to-back weeks for the Broncos. And they did not look good in week 1 against a bad Tennessee team. They then commit the penalty of leverage on a kick against Indianapolis last week that was no good. 15-yard penalty. The ensuing kick is good with no time on the clock. They lose. I'm not sold on the Broncos. I think they're a playoff team because what I saw yesterday is a good football team, and they have 14 weeks left. But they got to stop losing these games in the fashion that they're losing them. How about the story of Daniel Jones? How about Indiana Jones? No more Danny Dimes. Indiana Jones, 3-0. Efficient football in a bad division. I mean, a bad division. Texans look awful. Tennessee looks awful. That's a bad division. And Indiana Jones doing everything, not turning the ball over, running the ball, passing the ball. How about the Colts? Did you have them going 3-0 to start this season? Huge game tonight. Baltimore, Detroit. Baltimore 1 up and 1 down. Detroit 1-1. You look at Green Bay losing at Cleveland yesterday on a last-second kick. I'm telling you, I've had the Vikings. I didn't think they were going to play the way they did yesterday. Carson Wentz, tremendous job, much better than what they had with McCarthy. Every time I keep saying, the Vikings aren't going to do this, they're not going to do that, they step up and do it. So now Minnesota and Green Bay at 2-1, Detroit, Baltimore at 1-1, and Baltimore, they go to Kansas City on Sunday. So keep that in mind. It's an interesting 2-week stretch. Speaking of Kansas City, they just don't look that good to me. I think defensively, they're pretty good. Steve Spagnuolo is a tremendous defensive coordinator, and they are a physical team. They blitz. They blitz from the back end. They put pressure on you. Defensively, they're good. Offensively, they just don't impress me right now. And I know they're down a couple of wide receivers. So, listen, when you lose look at 49ers. I get that. It's an important position. Kelsey doesn't look like the same player. Mahomes is Mahomes. But offensively, they don't look that good. The Giants, meanwhile, if you want to know about how bad Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, is of the Dallas Cowboys, all you need to do, is look at the first 3 games that Russell Wilson has played and the first 3 games that Bears quarterback Caleb Williams has played. Okay? And if you look at Williams and you look at Wilson, they have played a combined 6 games. Only 2 of the 6 have been good, and both were against the Dallas defense. And by the way, if you're a fan of the Cowboys, I got some bad news for you. CeeDee Lamb is going to be out a couple of weeks, which means he will not be on the field Sunday night when they host Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers. He could be out 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. And by the way, when you watch the Dallas defense, right? When you watch the Dallas defense, you think that defense misses number 11? Huh. But don't worry, Jerry Jones said it's going to be just fine, and this enables you to be a better football team. Yeah. You let Russell Wilson throw for 450 yards last week. You allowed Caleb Williams, to look like a Hall of Fame quarterback yesterday. And you want to tell me that you're going to be just fine? The Cowboys' defense is pitiful. They could be the worst defense in the NFL right now. They can't stop anybody. And again, all you need to do is look at the first 3 games of Chicago's season and the first 3 games of the Giants. In weeks 1 and 3, the Giants prevent offense. In week 2 at Dallas, their offense had just moving the ball up and down the field. By the way, the New York football scene with the Giants and the Jets is an embarrassment for the city of New York. It's embarrassing. There is no way to say it. It's embarrassing. You want to talk about bad football? You want to talk about teams that just have no way of winning? I mean, the Jets yesterday played competitive football at Tampa. lost. And the way they lost, you're kind of like, wow, 29-27. At least they were competitive. The Giants were awful. They were awful. Thank goodness for our local product, Cam Scatterbo. Thank goodness for him. He's about the only reason right now to turn on the TV and watch the Giants. Just that's about it. Other than that, I don't know why you would watch. So we can talk about all of this at 916-779-0929. Crazy, crazy game in Philly with the Eagles and the Rams. And I mean crazy. The Eagles get the blocked field goal with the Rams trying to win it. Davis blocks the field goal attempt, picks it up, and goes the distance. And that makes it 33-26. I think the Rams are pretty good this year. After, watching them now for 3 weeks, they're better than I thought. They were in complete control of that game yesterday. They were up 19 points. And the Eagles come back and win. It was 26 to 7. It was 26-7. And the Eagles then find ways to win 33-26. Man, 33-26. Don't even talk to me about the Panthers and the Falcons. Did anybody waste their time watching that game? How bad are the Falcons to lose to the Panthers 30-0? That's freaking embarrassing. Jaguars, Texans, awful football, awful game. Two quarterbacks that have completely regressed. Trevor Lawrence does not look good at all. And I don't know what has happened to C.J. Stroud. We'll talk to Sean Salisbury about that tomorrow, who lives in Houston and works in Houston. Awful. Seahawks, really good. They really should be 3-0. 44-13. They dismantle, absolutely take apart the Saints. No contest. Absolutely no contest. And again, the game tonight should be a good one. Detroit, Baltimore. So we take your phone calls at 916-779-0929. We talk about this. Don't forget Doug McDermott of the Kings coming up at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow, Steve Sands, Sean Salisbury will start getting into the Ryder Cup a little bit. That is going to be coming up for you tomorrow. College football. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the Auburn-Oklahoma game. What an embarrassment that was. Did you watch that game on Saturday? You want to talk about horrible officiating? Not knowing the rules? That was awful. Absolutely horrible job. As bad as it gets in that college football game. All right, let's get to a call or two before we get to the break. And we start with Connor. Connor, welcome to Fox Sports Sacramento.
Grant, college football, what has happened to Clemson?
Oh, my gosh. I give Dabo Sweeney credit. I watched this post-game press conference, and, there's a guy speaking from his heart, but they can't win a football game really right now. I don't know what's happened to them. It doesn't look anything like a Clemson team you're accustomed to seeing, that's for sure.
My only thing is somehow Florida State took all their bad juju from last year and gave it to Clemson.
Boy, horrible.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I don't know how Florida State did some sort of witchcraft there to get their bad juju out and give it to Clemson.
Hey, how bad was the officiating in the Auburn-Oklahoma game?
It's officiating in college football is something else because each conference has different sets of refs. It's a whole mess. I know I had my issues when the Pac-12 had their refs back in the day with the Oregon and all that. I had a lot. Yeah, all those Pac-12.
Yeah, but you cannot miss a player faking to go off the field in a substitution, which should have, and then they score a touchdown on the play where it should have been a 15-yard penalty. You just can't miss that as an official. And they had some other calls. So I think it changed the outcome of that game. I think it cost Auburn the game.
I think so, too. It was a really close game.
Yep.
Hard-fought battle on the road, and that just swung it in Oklahoma's favor. Yeah, they issue these, statements and stuff. It's like, well, the game's already counted. We're not.
Yeah,
We're not
what are you going to do?
changing
You
the
can't do much
outcome.
about it. I know. What else
Yeah,
you want to talk
yeah.
about?
I think Kirk Cignetti made a statement Saturday night.
All right, how?
He blew Illinois out the building. That's what he did.
You think Illinois was a little overrated, or do you think Illinois was justified in being a top 10 team?
I don't know about top 10, but I would say probably could have been top 25. But this
top 20. I'd say top 20 for sure. I didn't think they were a top 10 team, but Indiana embarrassed Illinois. It was men against boys.
It was a completely, and mind you, the only touchdown Illinois scored was because of miscommunication between D'Angelo Pons, the corner, and the safety on Indiana. Other than that, there was no movement.
No,
all coming from that side of the ball. It was just a complete manhandling. I mean, if you take a look at the rushing yards, it was just
terrible. Hey, Connor, good stuff, man.
Illinois had like 2 yards. Yeah.
I appreciate it. I love talking college football, and you're all over it. I appreciate it. You have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Sounds good. Good stuff right there. We get to Chris in Greenhaven. Hey, Chris, welcome to the Grant Napear Show.
Mr. Napear, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Today's probably one of the better days. Almost reminds me of the next day after my children were born. Just wanted to talk about the Chargers. I remember just a couple weeks ago, Grant, that nice gentleman that was on the line before I called, the Bronco fan who talked about losing Slater was going to destroy our year. And, well, I really don't care who gets hurt. If anybody gets hurt besides Justin Herbert, I mean, just to see these guys, every other year prior to this, we would lose games like this. We would lose these games. And there's just something about it. I don't know if it's Harbaugh. I don't know if it's Herbert. But we are winning these games that we're used to losing. And I was just telling Rhino that, I mean, there's a small window where you can just take this juju, we'll call it, and roll with it. I don't see us losing. I mean, who are we going to lose to?
No, you're going to lose. You're not going 17-0. Come on, stop it.
Well, yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm a little out of control.
Well, come on. I mean, listen.
Really
let's not get carried away here. The Chargers are good, but I wouldn't put them in the great category just yet. Let's not get carried away. They barely won the game yesterday.
Okay, I'll agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But 3-0 in the division, and I mean, it's just huge, and we're really, really excited.
They don't hand out trophies in September, Chris. Okay, just keep that in mind. There are a lot of. I understand. Listen, Listen, I'm not telling you shouldn't be excited, but let's not get carried away here. Okay.
Okay. All right. I won't get carried away. I won't. But I did buy you a Herbert jersey.
Well, that's fine. And I don't know if there's anyone in the NFL playing better at the quarterback position through 3 games than Herbert. So I'm not telling you don't be excited. I'm just saying let's put the brakes on a little bit. It's September 22nd, for crying out loud.
Yes, sir. I hear you. One more thing before I go. Keenan Allen leaves to go to the Bears last year. Probably has, 1 touchdown the whole season. This guy is totally rejuvenated. The connection that he has with Herbert is amazing.
It's great.
Genius to come back. Thanks for your time, Grant.
Thank you very much. Hey, I want to talk to you about Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years. That's when he began his family-owned business. And he's excited. The rates have dipped. And whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or rolling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. I hope you're excited too and take advantage of this, okay? You can check out Village Financial Group. Go online at vfgloans.com. Or better yet, call or text Spencer at 916-805-4868. Go online. Check out their 9,000 plus properties available for purchase. It's all there for you. Be sure and contact Spence at 916-805-4868 for the investor special. It makes sense to call or text Spence, 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group. looking out for your best interest. More of your calls next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed, nearly 60% earn six-figure incomes, 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes
anywhere from Howe Avenue out to the I-5 interchange. I-5 southbound also starting to see a little bit of volume build anywhere from I-5 as you make your way down to about Richards Boulevard. But all in all, we're looking pretty good throughout the Sacramento area. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. At Bennett's, it's all about bold flavors and fresh handcrafted food served with genuine hospitality. Craving prime hand-cut steaks? We've got them. Fresh salmon, halibut, or giant Mexican prawns? We've got those too. At Bennett's, we serve premium seafood and steaks in a relaxed setting. Whether you're joining us for a special night out or a casual bite, we'll treat you like family every time. Find us in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. View our menus and make a reservation at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Hey, come on in.
Hi, Jack. In our subdivision?
Yeah, I saw your Suburban out front, so I thought I'd see how your kitchen and bathroom remodel was going.
We're delayed.
Oh, watch your step.
Waiting on subs.
Contractors?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't go with Kitchen Mart?
No, why?
Nothing. That's just why we went with Kitchen Mart. They don't use subs.
No subs? No subs?
Yeah, with the exception of something very specialized, Kitchen Mart does everything in-house so they can finish on time and on budget. So your cabinets, countertops, plumbing, drywall, electric, and your contractor pulled permits, right? That's the law.
Was he sub-osed to?
Well, you mean supposed to?
What'd I say?
Sub.
Sub?
Remodeling your kitchen or bath? 20,000 ecstatic customers agree. No subs means Kitchen Mart's in-house designers, craftsmen, and installers do it right and finish on time and on budget. Kitchen Mart, with 2 showrooms in Sacramento and Rockland. Call 362-7080 or go to kitchenmart.net for a free home appointment.
Kitchen and bath. No one does it better than Kitchen Mart.
The most trusted name in kitchen and bath remodeling since 1976.
Decisions determine results. So which path do I want to take? Help people in need or stand on the sidelines watching? Worry about how to pay for school or have my education paid for? Push myself and learn new skills or stay the same? My decision is to serve part-time with the Army National Guard, and my results will be life-changing. What will you decide? Go to NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Plan a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now is the moment we've been waiting for. With new treatments emerging in the fight against Alzheimer's and all other dementia, now is the time for hope. Join the fight and walk to end Alzheimer's, the largest fundraiser for care, support, and research to fight the disease. So come on, Sacramento, get out, get moving, and join the Walk to End Alzheimer's, Saturday, September 27th, 8:30 a.m. at William Land Park. Join the movement at alz.org/walk.
Don't forget, coming up in about 10 minutes or so, Doug McDermott of the Kings. They have their media day a week from today, and then they get going on Tuesday, and we'll have a lot of sound from media day that we'll be playing on next week's show. And, of course, get you ready for the preseason and the ensuing games. Can't wait. We're going to have a lot to talk about right here on Fox Sports Sacramento and on our podcast that I do with Rhino, 82 post-game shows over on If You Don't Like That on YouTube. So we got a lot of good things going on, and so happy that you're here on Fox Sports Sacramento, and we invite you to call. All right, it's very easy to do, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. A lot of injuries yesterday, again, in the NFL, a lot of good players that have lost due to injury for the season. Then you had a bad injury in the NBA with the Rockets and Fred VanVleet gone, torn ACL, and Tyler Hero is going to be out 8 weeks. So, injuries popping up already in the NBA. All right, let's get to some more phone calls right here on Fox Sports Sacramento when we say hello to Al. Hello, Al.
Nate, I got a new top 10 for brutal losses for my Rams fandom. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Talk about it. I was out of town. I had my RV and my wife and our dog, and we were in Bodega Bay, and the service was really wonky down there. So my brother and my nephew are texting me, and my nephew and my brother, they're Niner fans, and my nephew say, "Your team's looking great, man." And it's 4 quarters, and credit to the Eagles, man. They got stepped up, and they didn't quit, and and they got it done. It's just so tough, to lose on the special teams. You know what I mean? It's like a block kick or a return for a touchdown. It's just it's right there, and then you don't get it done. But I got to look at. I feel like they played hard, and they got a good 1-2 punch at running back. They got this kid. They got Williams, and they got this kid Blake Corum, who was out of Michigan. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but they're really high on him. Do you know anything about Corum? Have you?
No, I don't know. I don't know a lot about him, but I know. Here's what I do know. Normally, when you get in a Sean McVay offense, if you have any talent, he's going to find out, what your talent is, and he's going to be able to take it and have your best attributes come out. And that's what I think makes, the Rams so good. But, you got Kyron Williams, Gorham backs him up. I like the receivers. Listen, the receivers are different than in the past, right? And adding Devontae Adams and losing a Cooper Kupp, that's a big difference. But Puka Nacua is good. You have one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Listen, I like the Rams. I still think that, barring an injury to the quarterback, I don't see how they're not at least a wild card this year.
Yeah, I think they can get the wild card. But you're right. It hangs on the balance with Stafford, and and I'm going to credit Jalen Hurts, man. The Eagles nation and fans and media, and we're on him because he hadn't thrown a touchdown. And I was just wish he would have waited one more week to get his mojo back. But you like Hurts, and I like Hurts. But I was shocked at Green Bay. I mean, you pointed out that their offensive line got trashed by the Cleveland's defense, but I didn't see that. In fact, Green Bay was my survival pick. Fortunately, we got 2 strikes in the league I run, so I got one more strike. I was shocked.
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. At Cleveland, coming off 2 games where you beat 2 good teams, and everybody's talking about how great you are. You're going against a really, really good defense in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I'm to be honest with you, nothing really shocks me in the NFL. It really doesn't.
I would have to. You're right. Any given Sunday, and then the other one that shocked me was Falcons had a great, hard-fought, impressive win against the Vikings, and then they go and hang a donut against the Panthers. Now, I know it's the NFL, but 0 points, Nate. 0.
That was embarrassing. I don't get it. I don't understand how you can go from looking so good to so bad against an inferior team. That's just inexcusable. Plain and simple, it's inexcusable.
And I'll just leave it with, I still like your theory of 4 weeks. Let's see, and then the big games coming up, like the Rams got the Colts coming in. The Colts and your old quarterback, they're on fire. So out of the frying pan into the fire we go. And then Niners in 2 weeks. So I'm going to that game at SoFi with my brother and nephew. So I'll be surrounded by Niner fans at SoFi. But have a good night, man. Thanks for taking my call.
The one thing about the Colts, they're 3-0. They've had a pretty light schedule and again, Denver is supposed to be good, but I think Denver right now is a little overrated. And they got a break on the 15-yard penalty. I'd be surprised, not shocked, because Taylor's running the ball very, very well. Good offensive line. I'd be not shocked. I'd be surprised if they go to 4-0 and beat the Rams. Because after the Rams lost yesterday, there will be no letdown. There will be this is now a game. These next 2 weeks for the Rams are very large. especially the Niners game, because it's a divisional game, as we know, I would not yet just say, well, gee, the Rams are good. The Rams are good. And they really outplayed Philadelphia for a large portion of the game yesterday. And it came down to a block kick. But even before that, the Rams had opportunities and let Philadelphia off the hook. And the Eagles, listen, they know how to win. They won the Super Bowl last year. And A.J. Brown was really, really good yesterday. He gave the Rams fits all day. I mean, he was really good. And you have a dynamic quarterback in Jalen Hurts who just goes out and wins and wins and wins. They're good. Doug McDermott, yes, he's going to be coming up next. We'll talk to him about this year's Kings team and a lot more. Doug McDermott of the Kings, next segment right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Sports traffic, taking another look at the roadways, starting to get a little bit busier throughout the area. We are working a brand new problem on State Route 99 northbound at US 50 interchange. Give yourself a couple of extra minutes to work your way through that intersection, and just starting to see the normal rush hour delays starting to form, especially on the Cap City Freeway, anywhere between El Camino Avenue as you make your way down to the 50 interchange. That's going to cost you about another 20 minutes. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Who says Mondays have to be boring? At Bennett's, Mondays are made for wine and dine. For just $65, enjoy 2 full entrees, 2 salads, and a bottle of wine. Perfect for date night or dinner with a friend. That's a complete dinner for 2 with wine. Treat yourself to our crave-worthy favorites, like our prawn linguine or short rib with mashed potatoes. Join us this Monday in Roseville, Rockland, or Sacramento. Reserve now at bennettsrestaurants.com. Make Monday the new fun day at Bennett's.
This National Recovery Month Minute is brought to you by ChooseChangeCA.org. So many things, big and little, make you uniquely you. Your hobbies, dreams, career, family, and more. Addiction to drugs, including opioids and stimulants, can strip these away from you. This National Recovery Month, recover your life. Choose treatment for drug addiction and get back to what matters most. Treatment is available in many forms. Through primary care doctor, licensed narcotic treatment programs, outpatient treatment programs, licensed residential facilities, and even virtual care. Help is within reach. You can recover. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at ChooseChangeCA.org. That's ChooseChangeCA.org. That's ChooseChangeCA.org. Brought to you by ChooseChangeCA.org. Recover you. It's an electric September at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Osvaldo Hernandez and his team have epic deals for you on all Chevy and Cadillac EVs before time runs out on the $7,500 federal rebate, which ends September 13th. Oz and his team are ready to get you into an EV of your choice. See the epic selection of Equinox, Blazers, Silverados, Lyrics, and Optics. Get your epic deal and get the $7,500 federal rebate. Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac on the corner of El Camino and Fulton. The time to get an EV is now. And the most epic deals are available at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. See Oz and his team and learn about additional in-person specials. Don't wait. The federal rebate ends September 13th. Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Epic cars, epic deals, and epic service. It's an electric September at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Call Oz at 916-929-8335.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2 right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. A lot of good guests coming up this week. Steve Sands of NBC Sports and the Golf Channel tomorrow. Sean Salisbury as well. On Wednesday, Byron Scott will reflect back on that amazing Showtime Lakers with Byron Scott on Wednesday. The Sacramento Kings, a week from today is Media Day, which means a week from tomorrow they will have their first practice. And if you want to learn how to shoot the rock, then you need to watch Doug McDermott, because that is something he's always been able to do in his career. And he's nice enough to spend some time with us right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Doug, it's Grant Napear. How are you?
Grant, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been good to be back in Sacktown. We've been getting a lot of work in these last couple of weeks, and we're all just so excited to get the season underway.
You know, I'm glad you talked about that, because you've been in a lot of different situations. How important is a couple of weeks leading up to training camp to have everybody together in the gym together and playing?
It's huge. And I think Doug Christie's done a great job of getting us all here. We had a little mini camp in Los Angeles last month, and pretty much the whole team showed up. Obviously, Dennis has been busy with the Eurobasket stuff, but we pretty much had everyone in the gym getting ready for camp, because, with Coach Christie coming in, I know he obviously filled in last year, interim coach, but he wants to put in a lot of his new stuff, and, he's got a whole new staff with him. So we've just been going over a lot of stuff that they want to put in and leading into camp. And it's been great to be around the young guys. And it's just been really good camaraderie here the last couple of weeks.
Doug McDermott, our guest here on Fox Sports Sacramento. This is your 8th team, so you've been in a lot of different situations. How important is it for a player to not only understand their role, but accept their role?
It's really important. That's a heck of a reminder, by the way. I didn't realize I was on 8 teams already, but
Yeah.
It's very important. Obviously we have guys, that are just coming in the league, and we have guys like me who've been around for 12 years and on a lot of different situations. And then obviously we have some guys that have, played a lot of basketball, and they have a lot of experience. And, I think when you're a team, everyone knows their role. Some nights guys might not play a lot. Some nights they might play a ton because there's an injury or someone has to fill in. And, that's just something I've learned along the way. You gotta attack each day like you're going to play, because you never know what can happen in the NBA. And, you see guys all the time, they get thrown in a situation and they're not ready. And that's why I try to preach to the young guys, always stay ready, because you really never know when your opportunity's coming. You look at a guy like Keon Ellis, who was in the G League probably 2 years ago, and all of a sudden he's, a rotational player in the NBA and, playing awesome basketball. So things can change so fast in this league. And that's just something I try to preach to the young guys all the time.
Doug, the reason why I asked you that question is you understand your role and you accept your role. When Doug needs you, you're going to be ready to go. And it doesn't matter whether you've been sitting there for 2 games or 3 games, or in a particular game for, 43 minutes and there's 5 minutes, whatever the case may be, you're going to be ready. But you also accept your role and how important your role is in the locker room and off the court. And you don't have any problem with that, do you? You like helping out the younger players. You like being there for everyone. You're a glue guy, right? That's what you are. You're a glue guy in the locker room.
Exactly. I've kind of transitioned to that part of my career here. And, I think last year was awesome for me, being around guys like Alex Len, Jordan McLaughlin, guys that were, we were going in at the end of the games, even if it's garbage time and we're up 30 or hopefully not down 30. But, we're in situations like that where, you're not used to. I mean, you're used to doing that as a rookie, but it's something I embraced last year. And I think by taking the most out of those opportunities, regardless if it's 2 minutes or 4 minutes, people are always watching, and, the coaches are always watching, and, it's something I'm still able to do is shoot the ball. So like if Coach Christie ever needs me to come in and, let a couple rip, I'm always going to be ready. And that's just a role that I've embraced in my short time here. And I look forward to another season of it.
People know your background, that you played for your dad at Creighton. So basketball has been in your family really probably ever since you were old enough to remember. And as you look at the latter part of your career, is coaching something that you see yourself doing once your career is over?
I've started to think about that. I definitely want to be around the game. I think even a scouting role to start would be awesome, just because, the grind of 12 to however many seasons I'm going to play it's a lot. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a mental break for a few years. But I kind of joked with my dad, like I was like, I would coach if I could put you through the same drills you put us through. I want to see you get on the end line and run wind sprints for hours. So maybe someday I can pay him enough to get him and his staff to go through a practice with some of our players coaching them. But it's something that definitely interests me. But I just don't know when that's going to come.
I've never met your dad, but I would give him a big pat on the back because I think he did pretty well with you. A consensus first team All-American, 3 times in the National College Player of the Year. So from where I sit, again, I haven't met your dad, but I wouldn't say that he did anything wrong. Okay.
No, he did good, and you did good with your son too. I mean, he beats me on the golf course every day I play with him. But
I'm sorry to hear that. Can you get him a haircut for me? Is that something we can work out?
Yeah, that's something we can get done. I think maybe I'll say something to him later.
How many rounds of golf do you play in the off season? You love to golf, and I've heard through the grapevine that you are really, really good. So do you play as much as you can?
I do in the off season, and once the season starts, it's obviously harder. But with the good weather we have in SAC, whenever we get a chance on an off day, like a lot of guys on the team now are starting to really like to play. Malik is getting really good at golf, and Zach is a huge golfer. Keegan loves to play, and then we got some staff that love to play too. Bobby Jackson, awesome. I think, is like a 3 or 4 handicap. So it's something we are always talking about. We're watching YouTube videos on the planes, just trying to fix our swings, and it's been great. It's good camaraderie, and we got great spots, in SAC to play. Granite Bay has been awesome to us, and a lot of those courses out in the suburbs have been amazing places to go to and kind of just escape, when you need a little mental break during the season.
All right, so I've got a story for you. Bobby Jackson, I watched him at Granite Bay on the driving range, the first time he ever tried to play golf, and he actually missed the ball on many times. All right, like literally he would swing and miss. I'm like, Bobby, it's not baseball. All right, let's go. We got to hit the freaking ball up here. But now, and he got addicted to the game and could not put the clubs down. Wherever we were, Bobby Jackson had golf clubs with him. And as you said, look at him. Now he's a hell of a golfer.
Yeah, he is. And I haven't played with him yet, but Malik's trending in that direction where he's getting really good. I've played with him when he kind of was just starting, and now played with him like a week ago, and he beat me. So we're gonna have some friendly wagers this year, and it's a great way, like I said, to get away from the game when we need it and just still stay competitive.
All right, who would be the Kings Ryder Cup squad, best to worst? But you got to field the squad. So rank them for me. Let's go.
I'm taking myself number 1, and then I would say I would go Keegan. Keegan's supposed to be really. I haven't played with Keegan a ton, but Malik at Granite Bay, I would take Malik all day. I haven't. Zach's probably the most. He's probably got the most upside because he hits the crap out of the ball. You just don't know what direction it's going. And then we got some staff guys, some trainers. Joel in the training room, our head trainer, he's really good. But that's a great question. I'm gonna have to come back with you and give the power rankings. So that might be another combo once we get into the season.
I can't wait for this weekend. I grew up 5 miles from Bethpage State Park on Long Island. And I just can't wait to watch the Ryder Cup. And by the way, tomorrow I'm going to have Steve Sands on, one of the lead commentators on NBC Sports and the Golf Channel, to preview the Ryder Cup. Will you be glued to your TV for that?
Yes, I will. I heard you say that's coming up this week, and definitely be tuned in for that. And as much as I can, I'll be watching that Ryder Cup. I think it's one of the best sporting events there is. Just the competitive standpoint and just our country. And obviously Keegan Bradley being the captain's awesome. Mm-hmm. Captain America. I think it's going to be just a special Ryder Cup, especially like you said in New York. It's not right now with the Giants and Jets. New York needs something. So
please don't ruin my week already. It was hard enough watching the Giants prevent offense again last night. So let me enjoy my Monday, would you please?
Exactly. I won't kill you too much. I've already talked to your son about this.
Oh my gosh.
I'm from the Midwest, so I mean, the closest team to me was the Vikings. So I feel good about us. Obviously the quarterback, we need JJ to get healthy and get on page, and then obviously Kevin O'Connell. I just love him as a
Great
coach.
coach.
Really, really enjoy watching him coach, and obviously, Vikings I would say are my team, but I've kind of met a lot of 49ers fans out here, and especially in the building at the Kings facility. So I kind of pull for them too.
Take me back to Creighton and playing for your dad. Like, are there any negatives about playing for your dad? Or are there some obstacles that you have to overcome? I mean, after all, he's your father.
Yeah, it's a little different. Obviously, at first, when you're coming as a young kid and there's seniors on the team, and they're like, "Oh, that's just the coach's kid," It was a little bit of a tough hurdle to get over at first, and I had a lot of good conversations actually with Tony Bennett, who played for his dad at Green Bay, Dick Bennett. And, he really helped me. Like whenever your dad is, tough on you or the other guys, if it's hard practice, just maybe take your time going to the locker room, like let everyone filter out of there, because let them talk crap about your dad for a little bit before you join. And, it was the best 4 years though. I mean, at first, like I said, it was tough, but once I became one of the best player on the team, it really helped kind of get over all that. Is he playing just because his dad's the coach? That's where it could be a little awkward, I think, but it worked out really well for us. And obviously it's a perk when you're in college and you can send your laundry home with your dad so your mom can do it. And
yeah, that's a good point.
Get some groceries sent your way. That was the best part about it, just having the family close and just knowing at the end of the day he has his best interest for you and all the other guys. And it can be tough love at times, but it was such a good 4 years, and wouldn't have had it any other way.
At the beginning of this interview, you talked about talking to the young players and giving them advice. Was there one player in particular, whether it was with Chicago or Oklahoma City, wherever the stops may have been, that you look back on and said that one person had the biggest impact on my career?
I would say early on in Chicago, it was kind of a combination of Joakim Noah, Mike Dunleavy, and Kirk Heinrich. Those guys really took me under their wing. Obviously playing for Tibbs as a rookie is really tough. You're not going to play a ton and it's going to be demanding. And, looking back, playing for Tibbs was one of the best things that happened to me, because it taught me discipline and, being on time, being a pro. And I always thank him every time I see him. But, Joakim and Kirk and Mike, who's obviously the GM for the Warriors, they were just so good to me. Just taught me how to be a pro, took me under their wing, took me out to dinner all the time and just told me just like the ways. And that's what I'm trying to do with Neek and Max and all these guys, all these young guys on our team. Just trying to, build a relationship and just show them how to be a professional. And, that's a good thing about the Kings and Scott. He's brought in a lot of high character guys. So, they need guidance, but they're very mature kids. So like, I'm not going to have us leaders and us older guys. We're not going to have many issues with them just because they're such high character guys.
And they're older, which I love. And I know you've experienced this because I did when I was in the league. And younger players come in, some with a sense of entitlement, and it really sets them back. And when I look at Neek Clifford and I look at Max Reynaud and I talk to the people that have been around them, there is no entitlement. And you got to have the work ethic. But I think their minds are in the right place. As you said, they're good people. They come from good backgrounds. And their work ethic. And I love that. I love the fact, Doug, that they're older. I'm not into, the teenagers coming into the league as much. It takes too long to really get up to speed in most occasions. Are there exceptions? Yeah. LeBron James is a pretty good example of that. Yeah. But I love that they're mature. You use that term. That to me is a real asset.
It really is. And, they come from really good programs. You can tell they've been really well coached. And, even playing pickup with them today in the gym, like, they're so mature, they just look developed and like there's obviously gonna be some growing pains with every rookie. But you could throw them in and they'd have impact. So they did a great job with the draft. These kids are so high character, they're asking questions. There's no ego. They're not on their phones all day. There's mature guys because they stayed in college a little longer than most rookies coming in. And, Devin's had a great summer as well. Devin Carter and IJ, they look great. And they were all obviously on the same summer league team. So they got a little bond. And, it's a great time, to be a Kings fan with the young up and coming guys we have on our roster.
We're talking with Doug McDermott here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Has your mindset changed as you enter another training camp over the last couple of years, because now that you're older, in the way you approach training camp?
Yeah, I mean, every year is different. Obviously, your role is a little different. And, like we've talked about, it's more so, just being another outlet for these guys. Obviously you can coach them as hard as you want, but they want good feedback from their teammates too. And that's something I need to do a good job of. And, not stay out of the way in certain situations, but just step in if they need anything. And obviously, Coach Christie and his staff are doing a great job. And, I think just the mindset is, this is a big year for us. This is Doug's first year as a full-time head coach, and we don't want to let him down. He put so much work into it, and he holds us all accountable, and we want to go to war for him.
And the other thing that is so important, and you don't have the history of this because you haven't been with the team that long, but it's very puzzling to the fans, their home record, because you have such great support at Golden One Center. But over the last several years, the Kings have actually been better on the road than at home. That needs to change. You've got to make Golden One a home court advantage. It's very puzzling to the fans, Doug.
I know, and I didn't really realize that till I got here. And just the fan support is unbelievable. As a road player, you obviously see it, but when you're on the Kings, you really feel it. And that's something we need to do a better job of, is protecting home court. These people put in so much work to come to our games and stay the whole game to see the beam lighting, and that's something we need to take pride in, because it's a tough place to play. I mean, obviously it's one of the better arenas in the NBA, and we have some of the best fans in the NBA just because they're so passionate and loyal. Regardless of what our record is, they're showing up every night. So that's something, Doug's going to preach to us. He obviously put on the jersey for the Kings for a long time, and Bobby and, everyone in the organization who's been here a while knows that how big of a home court advantage this really can be. And we need to get back to that and make that a part of our identity this year.
Awesome stuff. Doug, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully we can do it again in the future, and I wish you the best. Have a great camp.
All right, anytime. It's good talking to you as always.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. Doug McDermott joining us right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Really good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff. Hey, I want to tell you about Village Financial Group and Spencer Grimmenstein, who I have known for 25 years, the broker and owner of his family-owned business. And whether it's a home equity line of credit, maybe you're buying or selling a home, Spence is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Give Spence a call or text him at 916-805-4868, and be sure and call for the investor special. And when you go online at vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. So be sure and call, because it makes sense to call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. We'll open up the phone lines when I return at 916-779-0929, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic, getting reports of a fire. Don't know if it's a car fire, brush fire, or structure fire, but I-80 eastbound off-ramp to Raleigh Boulevard. You're going to find officials on the scene of that problem. Give yourself some extra time. Riverside on-ramp to I-80 eastbound. Also got a crash in Auburn slowing things down, so definitely give yourself a couple of extra minutes through there. And normal rush hour delays starting to hit high gear, especially on the Cap City Freeway between Marconi Avenue and Exposition Boulevard. With twice-an-hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Traffic brought to you by Gabroods Electrical. Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, and always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues with Gabroods. GUBRUDS.com.
For your criminal defense needs, NotGuilty.com, your trusted defense team. Have you been accused or charged with a crime? Having a criminal record can jeopardize your job, your reputation, and your immigration status. Our experienced attorneys, including former DAs and prosecutors, bring unmatched trial expertise to protect your rights and fight to clear your record. The time is now. Don't wait. 855-636-0550. 855-636-0550 or visit notguilty.com. Driving without a license, drug cases, violence cases, sex cases, arrest warrants. Notguilty.com also assist with accident and labor cases. No upfront cost to start your injury case. And if we don't win, you don't pay. Call 855-636-0550. 855-636-0550 for your criminal defense needs. Notguilty.com, your trusted defense team. Results may vary. An initial consultation is required to determine if your case qualifies. This is for informational purposes only and does not constitute official legal advice. This advertisement is paid for by the United firm, La Liga Defensora.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My thanks to Doug McDermott. Rhino, what a great chat, huh? Now you know why, you need guys like that are ready to play always, okay? Ready to play. And when they're not on the court, they're doing everything off the court to help the team become better.
Grant, you always talk about the basketball team being a big puzzle. That is as important of a piece to the puzzle that the Kings need behind the scenes, especially what he said about the rookies. To have somebody like Doug around those guys, showing them the way, that's everything. That's what you're hoping for.
Great stuff. Really happy that he spent some time coming on the program. If you want to talk about anything that Doug McDermott said, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Rhino, you're going to be out at Media Day on Monday next week, getting us some sound, and I'll look forward to hearing what you have to say when I come on the air at 3:00.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, Media Day, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, but I want to see, what the vibe is in that building. I mean, you can kind of get a feel for that. A lot of questions about what this team's identity is going to be, play out over time, but super excited to get that audio. And Grant will be covering the team both here and on the YouTube channel all season long.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I've been at Media Day 32 times, and there's not once that I've ever left a Media Day not feeling optimistic. I mean, everyone's optimistic on Media Day. Everybody's optimistic until the games start. And then once you get your butt kicked a couple times, the optimism can go out the window if that's the case. So we know that the Kings have a daunting schedule in November. We've gone over it. Yeah. If they can get through November and left, standing, then I think they're going to be okay. But they've got to get through that brutal stretch. It's a brutal stretch.
500 at Thanksgiving. We're popping champagne, and we are cracking open the apple cider because you've got that. One thing they have, Grant, this year that they didn't have last year is that long homestand on the back end. And this year, it's a winnable homestand.
Yes, it's very winnable. That is correct. But you have to be breathing when you get to that. But that schedule, let me read that real quickly. I'm going to start with the November 1st game. All right. At Milwaukee, at Denver, home Golden State, home OKC, home Minnesota, home Denver, home Atlanta, at Minnesota, at San Antonio, at OKC, at Memphis, at Denver, home Minnesota, home Phoenix, at Utah, Memphis. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, that is brutal.
It is a rough stretch, and Oklahoma City 3 times in the first month of the season could be good, could be bad, depending on injuries. So it's really persevering, and I think really, but Grant, by the time we get through that stretch, we need to have an idea of what Neek's role, what Max's role might be on this team. I think it's got to be cemented by then, Grant.
I think the Kings really need to start the season 3-0. They have to win at Phoenix, not very good. Utah at home, their home opener, could be the worst team in the West. And then you have to beat the Lakers 2 nights later. You lost to them 4 times last year. And before you go on that first road trip at OKC, at Chicago, at Milwaukee, at Denver, I'm sorry, but if you want to be 500 in Thanksgiving, to me, you've got to start off the season at 3-0. Because if you don't, then you're going to be going uphill the whole season. Because I'm sorry, I don't think you're going to do very well on that road trip. You've got at OKC, the next night at Chicago, then you have at Milwaukee and at Denver. Now, can you win on the road? Yeah, we saw the Kings win on the road. Can you win some of those games? Yes. But, I mean, I got to be objective about this. The rookies are going to be a lot better in April than they are in October. Okay, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to count on young players early in the season.
It's a good point. It is a good point. I look at this, though, that stretch. First off, I don't mind a road trip early. I think sometimes that can galvanize a group. But putting into context this first chunk of the season that we're talking about, that's almost a 4-3 stretch, Grant. Almost a 5-3 stretch that I think the Kings need to come out of or return to the Golden One Center on Friday, the 7th of November.
I think that's overly optimistic, my friend. I hope so too, but I think that is overly optimistic that you're going to go 5-3 in those top 8.
Okay, so we said you got to go 3-0. Phoenix, Utah, and the Lakers.
Well, I just tell you right now, I don't think they're going to beat the Lakers if the Lakers are healthy. So I don't think that would be a win, but I hope I'm wrong because I hate the Lakers. But go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say I think you can get 2 more. You can get Chicago. You could get Golden State. Milwaukee, OKC, no. Denver, they played them well, but with Jake LaRavia, you don't have him anymore. So that changes things for Coach Christie.
Well, I'm looking at Denver. To me, they might be the best team in the West this year with the moves that they made in the offseason.
Yeah.
And the Chicago game is a back-to-back, so keep that in mind as well.
Well, maybe it's a blowout at OKC. You get your rest and you go into Chicago, locked and ready to go.
Again, if you could come home 5-3, every single Kings fan would sign up for that right now, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So what's realistic to you on this road trip? Through the road trip, I should say.
Those 4 games?
The first 8
Oh, the
games.
first 7 before you play Golden State at home?
Yes.
Absolute best case scenario, 4-3. I think you got to be careful that you don't go 2-5. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Because if you slip up at Phoenix, okay, I think Phoenix is terrible. I don't know how you feel about them, but I think they're going to be terrible. But it is their home opener, so keep that in mind. The Lakers, to me, is going to be very difficult if Luka is Luka. And then lose at OKC, coin flip Chicago, lose at Milwaukee, lose at Denver. That's how I'm seeing it.
All right. Fair enough.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope right now, I would take 3-4. If you told me the Kings could go 3-4 in the first 7, I would sign up for that right now.
I'm almost marking Phoenix. I would probably sign up for that too. As a win, the Kings, the last few years when they've opened up on the road, traditionally, they played pretty well.
Yes, they have.
So I'll give them that. Utah kind of plays the Kings tough every now and again. Home opener for the Kings as well. 2-3 through that stretch. Yeah, I would probably take 3-4. 3-4, 4-3 at best.
So I guess when you look at the big picture, and we're going to be talking about this a lot next week, is we have to keep in mind what our 82-game expectations are of the Kings. And as I sit right now and look at the team, I don't think they're a 40-win team. So I have to keep that in mind when I'm picking games because, quite frankly, I don't think they're going to win 40 or half their games at 41.
I'm with you. I think 500 and possibly catching the back end of the play-in is kind of where that ceiling's at for this team as constructed today. Will this be the team that rolls into Media Day a week from today?
It's a great question. It looks like Jonathan Kuminga is going to take the qualifying offer with the Warriors. I think the person that I could see on the move with another individual would be Devin Carter. Not because I don't think he can be good, but because I just don't know how he can get on the floor right now with all these guards.
Sure. And Fred VanVleet that we talked about earlier today went down with a torn ACL.
Yes.
It's being reported. So you don't know and you don't hope for those injuries to happen to other teams. But does that open up teams that are in need of a guard? And I'm not suggesting the Houston Rockets are looking for somebody like Devin Carter, but, certainly they have to evaluate their roster now, and who knows what happens as we get closer to the start of the regular season.
Well, I know they're on the phones and they are being active. I think we could agree on that. When you're looking at the Rockets, losing a guy that you were going to be counting on, that's a significant loss. As I said at the beginning of the show, it's at least time on their hands now. The first game's not until the 22nd or 23rd, so they have a month to figure it out.
Yeah, and they're probably starting to compile the list of workouts that they're going to conduct. Because, Grant, they're not going to have a ton of money to work with as we sit today. They're going to have to go on a budget.
All right, good stuff talking about the Kings. We're going to be doing that on a regular basis. Obviously, my thanks to Doug McDermott. Good stuff right there. If you are not able to listen, we are streaming on YouTube. You can always go back and listen to the show at your leisure whenever you want over on the Fox Sports Sacramento YouTube page. Make sure you download the Fox Sports KSAC app if you have not already done so, and we appreciate that. I love all the comments that I'm getting when I'm out and about and on social media and everywhere else. Really appreciate your support. Love that you're here on Fox Sports Sacramento. We're talking NFL here on a Monday and getting you ready for a really big game. This is going to be a heck of a game tonight, or at least should be, with Detroit and Baltimore, both teams at 1-1. Give me a call. We can talk about the NFL if you want to talk about the Kings or Doug McDermott. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929 right here on a busy Monday. And again, getting you ready for the Monday night game kickoff coming up at about 5:15. We'll be with you until 6. And then I will be on my YouTube channel after the game. If you don't like that, we'll recap the Monday night game at the conclusion of that contest. Talking about the other action in the NFL yesterday and the injuries, and if you are a 49ers fan, you did not hear, but Nick Bosa tore his ACL, and that is bad news for the 49ers. Bad news. There's just no other way to say that. Najee Harris, out for the year. Achilles, Chargers. If you are a fan of the Cowboys, you will not see the outstanding wide receiver CeeDee Lamb on the field for a couple of weeks, and you certainly will not see him on the field Sunday night when the Green Bay Packers come in, and that could be very, very ugly. That could be ugly, folks. Let me tell you something right now. That could be very, very ugly, because when you look at that Cowboys defense and they cannot stop anybody, if you don't have CeeDee Lamb on the field, okay, that's going to impact what you do offensively. And if you make the Cowboys an average team offensively and a horrible team defensively, you got some real issues. They may not win 6 or 7 games. Okay? Man, that is going to be a real problem. That's going to be a real problem for the Cowboys, and they could fall very, very quickly. So if you want to talk about that or anything else, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the NBA and get into it a little bit. Who was the most surprising team in the NFL yesterday, and who was the most disappointing team in the NFL yesterday? I'm going to say, even though this is a game I only watched a couple of plays because I got turned off by it, the most surprising team in the NFL to me yesterday, the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know how the Atlanta Falcons can take on a Carolina team that has been pathetic and lose 30-0. Like, I'm sorry, I don't understand that. I don't understand how the Falcons do not score and give up 30 to the Carolina Panthers. So to me, that is the most surprising score. The second most surprising score in the NFL yesterday happened to be in Minnesota, where the Vikings beat Jake Browning and the Bengals 48-10. Now, I'm well aware that Joe Burrow was not on the field, but the Vikings destroyed Cincinnati. This game was well over at halftime. Do you know the score at the half in that game was 34-3? 34-3. I mean, that's unbelievable to me. So those two were the most surprising scores. I'm not really surprised that the Browns beat the Packers. I'm just not. But that did surprise me. I'm also surprised that the Bears, as bad as the Cowboys' defense is and how bad they've been offensively, they were able to score 31. But if you want to get healthy offensively, I guess you need to go against Matt Eberflus and his horrible defense. Horrible defense. Rhino, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually have a question to ask you, and it goes along the lines of surprising. You had this guy as your quarterback. You talked about, hey, can we do better than Indiana Jones? That's just too obvious.
I know, but I'm just telling you that's what they're calling him, so go ahead.
All right, so he got a big deal in New York. He was decent, or actually good enough to get re-signed when you blocked for him. The Colts have put up 103 points through the first 3 weeks of the season, a franchise high. Are you surprised by Daniel Jones' success?
Not really, because I've always felt that he had talent. If you got an offensive line in front of him, I mean, this is a guy that in the playoffs 3 seasons ago went to Minnesota and played a flawless game and looked like that's why they gave him the new contract, by the way. If you remember, It was after that season where the Giants made the playoffs and they went into Minnesota and they controlled the Vikings in the playoff. And it was that offseason that they gave Daniel Jones the deal. So I'm not really that surprised because you know what? Look at the running game they have with Jonathan Taylor.
Bingo.
So what does that do? Look at the play action that they're running in Indianapolis. I watched the game. Play action is so effective when you have a running back like Taylor, who's one of the best in football, and they have a good offensive line. So I'm really not that surprised. And will it continue? I'm not picking them to win this week. I'll tell you that already against the Rams, but I'm not that surprised. Are you?
No, not really. Because of what you just mentioned, the balance. Jonathan Taylor got 17 attempts yesterday. Daniel Jones threw the ball 25 times. That's about as balanced as you can get in an NFL offense when you're running well, when you're doing the play action. I think the question is, the league always catches up. Will they catch up with Daniel Jones and the Colts as the season goes along?
Well, the biggest thing that Daniel Jones has done through 3 games, he hasn't turned the ball over. And they didn't punt in the first 2 games. So he hasn't turned the ball over. And Daniel Jones' big bugaboo with the Giants was his turnovers. So through 3 games, no turnovers. And you talk about Taylor and the efficiency. He ran for 102 yards on 17 carries. That's very impressive. Very impressive. And then you have Daniel Jones. He also ran the ball 4 times for 27 yards. So he's multidimensional. He's not a running quarterback. He's a quarterback that can run when he needs to run. There's a big difference. So I'm looking at this team, and I'm looking at their receivers and how effective they've been through the first 3 weeks. But I'm looking at I start with the Colts offensive line.
Yep.
They've been able to pass block. They're able to run. So do I think that they're going to win the division? Maybe a little bit premature to say that. But look at Houston and how bad they look. I mean, I'm looking at that division right now. Who's better in the AFC South than the Colts through 3 weeks? Forget about 3 weeks is early.
Yeah.
But I mean, that division's terrible. The Titans are terrible. The Texans look awful. Jacksonville, to me, doesn't look that good. They're 2-1, but they don't look that good. And the Colts have clearly been the best team in that division through 3 weeks.
Hands down, the cleanest team in the division, arguably the cleanest team offensively in the NFL through 3 weeks. I guess I would ask you this. Is Daniel Jones's success a reflection of how bad the coaching got in New York, or was it more of just stupid mistakes?
I think it was just a horrible offensive line, to be honest with you. And to me, in an NFL team, everything centers around the offensive line. And Daniel Jones played behind a bad offensive line with bad tackles for most of his career. And I think when you do that, it is very, very difficult to succeed. Hey, I want to talk to you about DAS Mechanical. Do you need a maintenance check or an emergency repair on a heating or cooling unit? DAS Mechanical will take care of all of your heating, cooling, ventilation, and energy needs. They have so many things that they can do for you, okay? First of all, they're an HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. Keep in mind that they will provide a thorough exam before deciding to replace your unit. So you're going to know what's going on every single step of the way. And DAS Mechanical provides repair and maintenance service air quality maintenance, backup generators so your home stays energized during rolling blackouts and power outages. And financing options, they've got you covered. 0% interest for 18 months available. Go to dasmechanical.org. You can do everything online, and be sure and spend a moment and look at all of their 5-star reviews and their best of best awards. Love talking to their owner, Nick, about 3 weeks ago, learning about his business, his philosophy. I understand why they've won so many awards after my meeting with their owner. DAS Mechanical, they're awesome. Check them out online, dasmechanical.org. When we come back, your phone calls, 916-779-0929, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Let's get right to it. Is your home over 10 years old? How long has it been since electrical integrity was checked? Even for newer builds, a safe rule of thumb is to have your home's electrical inspected at least every 5 years. At Gabrudes, electrical work is all they do. Panel replacement, whole house fans, generators, solar, and more. But home inspections are what they do most often. They are the area's experts and the electrical company their competition recommends for the hardest problems to solve. So whether you have a difficult situation or it's just time to ensure your home and family are safe, call locally owned Gabrudes for a thorough 12-point expert inspection. Gabrudes, serving Northern California neighbors for more than 30 years. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrudes.com.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed. Nearly 60% earn six-figure incomes. 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
Yeah, let's just play some Earth, Wind, and Fire until 6 o'clock, Rhino. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes.
I couldn't play it for you on the 21st of September, so you get it on the 22nd.
Hey, that's okay. You could have sent it to me over a text message, okay? You could have done it that way, but it's okay, you know? Yeah. How about that? That's great. Yes, thank you for that, Rhino. I appreciate that. Oh, wow. All right, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. NFL talk, still going over some of the games from yesterday. All right, so I think that the 49ers are good. I'm not ready to say they're very good or great yet. Now you will not have Nick Bosa for the rest of the season, and you have a team coming in this week that, quite frankly, I think you should beat, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And then the real interesting game is going to come a couple of days later against the Rams on Thursday Night Football down in L.A. And so that is going to be one heck of a contest. But first things first, you have to get through Jacksonville. And now all of a sudden I'm thinking that they're going to be able to beat the Rams without George Kittle and without Nick Bosa. And understand that the Rams could have some significant injuries coming up this week. I hope not. I don't root for anyone to get hurt, but things change. You never know what a football team is going to look like health-wise from week to week. I mean, the Chargers lost Najee Harris. The Cowboys lose CeeDee Lamb for a couple of weeks. Bosa's out for the year, and there are more injuries around the National Football League. So keep that in mind. I mean, things change every week in the NFL. But if I'm looking at the Niners and I'm analyzing their 3 games, they have won ugly in all 3 games. The first game of the year at Seattle, defensive struggle, won ugly. Saints game on the road, week 2, won ugly. Last week, yesterday, okay, Arizona at home, they won ugly. They win, but, and I've said this, right now, the early part of the season, it's just about winning and winning so that when Thanksgiving gets here, you are ready for the stretch drive and you're one of the teams. And I can't imagine the Niners not being one of the teams when we get to that part of the season, because I think their schedule is such that it's just not very difficult. And I think their schedule is easy enough where even with backups, they're going to be able to win a number of games as long as Christian McCaffrey is on the field. I mean, if you were to lose Christian McCaffrey, then you're done. You don't have anyone on the football team that can do what he does. And again, yesterday, think of the big plays that Mac Jones made to set up the field goal by Pinero to win the game. It's Christian McCaffrey. And you better hope, 49er fans, and you saw what happened last year when you didn't have him, you better hope that that's one guy that is able to stay on the field, because he's the one player on the 49. I think there were 2 players. Well, I'm going to change my thought here. There are 3 players, in my opinion, that you absolutely cannot replace on the 49ers in any order. Christian McCaffrey, left tackle Trent Williams, and the great linebacker Fred Warner. Those 3 players are in a class by themselves. You cannot replace them. And if any of those 3 players were to go out, your season is going to fall off the cliff because you cannot replace them. And I don't know what order I would put them in. I know a lot of people would say Christian McCaffrey, but even when you don't have Trent Williams on the field, you know, McCaffrey's usage and his versatility in terms of how well he plays, both in running the football and catching it out of the backfield, is diminished greatly. Now, you've got to have Trent Williams at left tackle and on the field. And we know what Fred Warner does for the team defensively. I mean, you've seen, right? No George Kittle, and they were able to win 2 games. Do you think that the 49ers would have won the 2 games that they just played without McCaffrey? I don't. Do you think they would have won the 2 games without Trent Williams? I don't. Do you think they would have won the 2 games without Fred Warner? I don't. But they won 2 games without George Kittle. Easier to fill in, not replace. Easier to fill in. You don't have anybody. I don't care about Robinson. He's not Christian McCaffrey. He's a completely different back, right? You don't have anyone that can do what Trent Williams does. And certainly Fred Warner is one of the top defensive players in football. So you've got to hope that those 3 players remain upright, because if not, you've got real problems. So let's talk about this. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. And if you are a fan of the Raiders, that was awful yesterday. Absolutely awful. And I'm looking at Pete Carroll's reaction on the sideline, and I get it. I mean, seriously. From the opening kickoff until the end of the game, horrible special teams. You know, Geno Smith wasn't bad. He was good. 19 of 29, 289, 3 touchdowns. Can't blame it on him, right? But good Heavens, that special teams play. Horrible. Absolutely awful. Because the game was really manageable at halftime. I mean, it's only 20-10. But you can't tackle. That's the worst tackling I've seen from the Raiders in a long time. You look at Washington, 400 yards of total offense. Offense was not the problem for Washington or for the Raiders, 354. They had the same number of first downs. They had problems on third down, which was a problem for the Raiders. They were only 3 of 14 on third down. That's got to get better. That's terrible. They had a decent amount of penalties, not like anything that would alarm you. 6 for 54, less than what Washington had. They didn't turn the ball over. They had the ball for 31 minutes and 53 seconds. They lost the game on special teams. Plain and simple. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Grant, they lost yesterday on special teams, but I think they're going to keep losing games if you don't find a way to get Ashton Genty involved in the pass game. They didn't even get him one pass yesterday.
Not once.
17 for 63 yards. Teams are stacking the box. That's the key to me for the Raiders offense to run at its top.
I don't understand why you can't get him the ball in the flat. I don't understand why you can't, get him a little dink and dunk type of a game going. I really do not understand that. He's caught, I think he's only had 5 catches for 3 yards. I looked at the numbers last night, and I was like, wait a minute, that can't be right.
Right.
Again, I think he only has 5 receptions in 3 games for a total of 3 yards. You got to find a way to get him in space. You just do.
He's too special of a player.
Right.
You saw that at Boise State. I still think that translates to the league. But Pete Carroll, he knows how to use a back like that. I just think that you got to open it up a little bit more and not rely as much on Jacoby Myers. He's been excellent this season, but I don't know if he's going to be able to keep doing that through the rest of the season.
That's like last night I'm watching the game, and the Giants' difference maker on offense is Malik Neighbors, and they couldn't get him the ball at all.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, he was shut out. Get him the ball on an end around. Get him to figure out a way to do a wide receiver screen. Do whatever you have to do. Get him the freaking ball and let him run after catch. And I know Kansas City and Spagnuolo, their game plan was to take him out, and they did. But the Giants, to me, didn't get creative at all. I don't understand. How can you not get creative? Do you think that the Chiefs or NFL teams, this, Rhino, their game plan is always to take out a weapon? You don't think that the Arizona Cardinals tried to take out Christian McCaffrey knowing that no Kittle and you didn't have your top 2 wide receivers? They weren't able to do it. Why? Because the 49ers find a way to get him the ball in space. I'm not talking about running. I'm talking about catching. Like the Giants can't do that. It's mystifying to me.
Spot on. I mean, you could argue maybe Russ does not have the time for the most part because that pocket was quick to collapse towards the latter parts of that game. But still, at that level, with the style of play calling that we're seeing, I mean, you're bringing in Jackson Dart for a running package, Grant. Do something there. If you're going to be able to get that creative, you got to get Neighbors the ball. You're right.
It is hard to believe. It really is. But you make a great point about Ashton Genty. You got to get him the ball out of the backfield as well. So we'll see. Right now, the Raiders are 1-2. And not only are they 1-2, Rhino, but we always talk about you're 1-2 with the team now that is in your division that you've already lost to at home being 3-0. So they are behind the 8 ball early on in this season. They are definitely behind the 8 ball because you got that home loss to the Chargers, and now you're 2 full games back, and they've already won against you at your building.
And your building is not exactly home all the time. So you're going to have to pick up some of those big ones that you didn't think you were going to pick up. The Raiders the last couple of years have been good for a couple of those wins. But the problem is when they get them, they're not really in the mix anymore.
Wait till you see how many Bears fans are in Las Vegas this Sunday. Just wait till you see, right? It's going to be full of Bears fans.
Destination. It's a cool building. It's intimate for an NFL game. I get why fans travel there besides the lure of Las Vegas, but it's tough. I mean, would you rather play in Vegas as a Raider or would you rather play in SoFi as a Charger?
I'd rather play in SoFi.
I'm going to say Vegas. Less fights. SoFi is like the home of fights.
Yeah, but you're right, but that doesn't affect the players.
I know. I'm being
But you're right,
facetious.
and I didn't even go on social media today to see if there were any fights at the Chargers game. I did notice, though, that the place is full, which is good.
Yeah.
But I also noticed there was a lot of orange when they did the crowd shots. There's a lot of orange there. And in all fairness, there were more Chargers fans than I thought that I would see, but there was a lot of orange in those stands.
Yeah, we see it when the Niners make that trip down to SoFi. More red than you do powder blue, white, or
Well,
navy.
wait till you see the Thursday night game. That will be 70% 49er fans down in LA. Just watch.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you.
Hey, don't forget, we've got another hour left, and we will take your phone calls at 916-779-0929. Steve Sands from the Golf Channel and NBC Sports tomorrow in hour number 1. Sean Salisbury will talk college and the NFL. Byron Scott expected to join me on Wednesday. I can't wait to get into his memories of that great rivalry in the 80s when he was with the Lakers, and in the 90s, the Lakers and the Celtics, and some other fond memories. Byron Scott, a great guy, expected to join me on Wednesday. Steve Albert, a really phenomenal man, tremendous sportscaster, has announced so many different things. He's got a book out. I'm going to talk to him about that, talk to him about his fondest memories of calling some of the greatest fights in history. Steve Albert on the microphone for so many of those tremendous fights. Those are the next couple of days. Of course, Chris Landry every Thursday, LandryFootball.com. And I'm working on a couple of other things. So make sure you don't go anywhere. You'll get all the information you need. NBA, NFL, college, right here. The Grant Napear Show with 1 hour remaining on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic, heavy rush hour delays throughout all of Sacramento, especially eastbound, westbound US 50 in between Howe Avenue out to the I-5 interchange, I-5 northbound, southbound between Top of the Town Freeway and Sutterville Road, dealing with about a 30 to 35-minute drive time through there. Also, northbound, southbound Cap City Freeway in between Marconi Avenue and Exposition Boulevard. You two are dealing with about a 35 to 40-minute drive time. With twice-an-hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
It's Laramie, the Golden Retriever, with Vince Bloom, the big guy.
The weather's getting cooler, but at Folsom Lake Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, the deals are hotter than ever.
How do you mean, Vince?
It's the Drive Into Fall event, and prices are falling like leaves on every Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram in stock. Listen.
During the Drive Into Fall event at Folsom Lake Dodge, save over $6,500 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 2-door Sport. That's over 17% off.
And I've got 5 at this hot deal.
Or rustle up over $10,000 off a new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Over 19% off.
The Drive Into Fall at Folsom Lake Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Even Laramie knows now is the time for a deal. Right, Laramie?
At Folsom Lake Dodge.
In the Folsom Auto Mall and online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Wrangler includes $44.85 dealer discount plus $2,000 in national retail bonus cash. Then SE $65.83.48. Grand Cherokee includes $45.25 dealer discount plus $5,500 in national retail loyalty and select inventory bonus cash. VINs S8667701, 629.387, 6694.58. See dealer for details. Expires 9/30/25.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. At Bennett's, it's all about bold flavors and fresh handcrafted food served with genuine hospitality. Craving prime hand-cut steaks? We've got them. Fresh salmon, halibut, or giant Mexican prawns? We've got those too. At Bennett's, we serve premium seafood and steaks in a relaxed setting. Whether you're joining us for a special night out or a casual bite, we'll treat you like family every time. Find us in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. View our menus and make a reservation at bennettsrestaurants.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. When we break down the NFL's best teams, the conversation almost always starts the same. Offense first, then defense. But football, as every coach loves to remind us, is played in 3 phases. And while special teams may take the field the least, its impact can be the most dramatic. Week 2 gave us a perfect reminder. In Dallas, Brandon Aubrey drilled a field goal from beyond 60 yards. The kind of kick that doesn't just put points on the board, but flips momentum. It helped the Cowboys escape the Giants Giants with the win they absolutely needed. And then yesterday, the Eagles and Browns showed the other side of the coin. A perfectly timed surge off the edge led to 2 blocked field goals, sealing a hard-fought victory for both teams. Plays like those don't happen often, but when they do, they can be the difference maker. A difference between a playoff berth and an early vacation. Special teams will never be sexy. They'll never command headlines. But if you're chasing a championship, ignore them at your own risk. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
I am dedicated. I am TNT.
With Team in Training, you will reach your best physical self so blood cancer patients can reach theirs. Change your life by joining a marathon, half marathon, triathlon, or a cycle event, and you'll change the lives of blood cancer patients.
I am committed. I am TNT.
After 600,000 participants and almost $1 billion raised for treatments, TNT has helped the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society make a significant impact in the advancement of blood cancer therapies that save lives every day.
I am making a difference. I am TNT.
Join TNT. Expand your circle of friends to be part of a very special community. Train with world-class trainers and have the chance to be part of the most exciting endurance sports events in the country. Or train on your own schedule with TNT Flex. Join TNT and fundraise while you train and take part in getting us all closer to a world without blood cancers.
Join TNT now. Go to teamintraining.org.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 3. My thanks to Doug McDermott for joining me last hour right here on Fox Sports Sacramento, taking your phone calls at 916-779-0929. You know, we talk about sports success or lack thereof and talked about the problems with the Sacramento Kings. Their biggest problem is their owner. And the news that came out last week is extremely disturbing, and I went over it on the show, and there has been more information in a negative fashion as it relates to that story that has been written by others. And it's just not good, right? And you look at franchises in professional sports, and you can talk all you want about players, and you can talk all you want about coaches and general managers. But the reality is, it truly does start at the top. And I look at the Dallas Cowboys, and I look at how pathetic they have been on defense through the first 3 weeks of the season. And I look at their owner, and I look at their playoff record since they last won the Super Bowl in 1995. And if you're a Cowboys fan, well, maybe you weren't alive in 1995. Maybe you weren't old enough to remember 1995 when they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. You know, when you look at the Cowboys since 1995, the franchise has been an embarrassment. After winning the Super Bowl the following year, you know what? I am going to rant. Rhino asked me if I'm going to rant, but I wanted to do this real quick because it's part of what I want to add to the rant list. Cowboys ownership, Raiders ownership over the last 10 years of Al Davis's tenure, Sacramento Kings ownership, the Knicks with James Dolan, right? What's the one constant? Ownership. So, Rhino, I am ready for Grant's rant. I didn't completely forget about it.
It's time for rant.
All right, but buddy, I want you to help me out here because I want to also have you give me a little input in addition to what I want to rant about. So go ahead.
All right. Well, I was going to make it pretty simple. We've got your rant. We've got Syracuse being fined $25,000 for faking injuries at Clemson. And lastly, Kyler Murray picture comes out wearing a Michael Vick jersey, throwback, Virginia Tech, Pitbull, bad look, bad scene. So those were going to be your options.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. and I'm going to stick with what I wanted to rant about coming out of the break about ownership. And I want to concentrate on the Cowboys because they are the most relevant because of the fact that I think they took the best defensive player in football and could not figure out a way to make that work in Micah Parsons. So I think is going to come into Texas, into Big D next Sunday night, and I think he's going to embarrass Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. So I am going to rant about this. We could rant about Kyler Murray, and in all credit to Kyler Murray, at least he came out and apologized and get it and all that. But I want to talk to you about ownership in pro sports, correct? When you look at certain franchises that have been bad over a long period of time, you can point right to ownership, okay? There is a reason why the Oakland A's are not in Oakland anymore, and there is a reason why fans have such a disdain for that franchise. We know what the reason is. There's a reason why the Sacramento Kings have one playoff win since 2006 and one playoff appearance. We understand why things have not gotten really better in Sacramento since moving into Golden One Center and a couple of years before that. I think the vast majority of people would point at their owner, Vivek Ranadive. There's a reason why the Raiders keep on living in the past, I mean, I dealt with it when I was announcing the games in the early 2000s, the commitment to excellence and all that crap, okay? That's when Jim Plunkett was your quarterback and Tom Flores was your head coach, for crying out loud, okay? Al Davis, at the end of his tenure, the Raiders were horrible decisions at the quarterback, horrible decisions with coaches. And it continued now with Mark Davis. And finally, I think they're going in the right direction with the input of Tom Brady as a minority owner and Pete Carroll. I at least see a lot of daylight at the end of the tunnel. I don't see daylight at the end of the tunnel if I'm looking at this from the Cowboys' perspective. Again, we talk about winning the Super Bowl 30 years ago. Hello? 30 years ago. That's a little long, right? 30 freaking years. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. 96, they did make the playoffs. They won a game in the wild card. They lost in the divisional round. Then, how many other wins do they have in the playoffs since 1995? What do you think the guess is? How about 4? Since 1996, the Dallas Cowboys have 4. That's right, 4 wins in the postseason. That's unbelievable, isn't it? 2009, they won a wild card game. 2014, they won a wild card game. 2018, they won a wild card game. 2022, they won a wild card game. They lost every single time the following week in the division. All right, the divisional playoff round, they lost. What's the one constant in the Dallas Cowboys during that span? There is only one. His name is Jerry Jones. Cowboys fans will never obtain the top of the mountain ever again until Jerry Jones is gone. And in this case, and I'm not rooting for the man to die, I would never wish that on anyone, but that's the reality. It will happen when he passes, okay? May not happen the next year, but at least there will be an opportunity for the Cowboys to be on top of the football world. That opportunity does not exist now because of Jerry Jones. And I've been talking about this for over 20 years, 25 years. I've talked about it ad nauseum, okay? But I talk about it because there is a huge game coming up Sunday in Dallas. The Green Bay Packers and Micah Parsons are coming in. Again, my opinion. I think Parsons is the most impactful defensive player in the National Football League. He is a generational talent. I don't even think that's debatable. You may not think he's the best defensive player in football. I do, but at least we can debate that. But you can't have the conversation without including Micah Parsons. Like, you can't do it. If you want to talk about great defensive players, and if you don't have Parsons in the conversation, then I'm not having that debate with you. Okay? What is the one constant? It is Jones, who has absolutely ruined this franchise from a football perspective. Wins, losses. Certainly he's the best businessman that the National Football League has ever seen. I'm okay with saying that. I don't think there's ever been a better businessman for his franchise in the National Football League than Jerry Jones. He is a brilliant man when it comes to making money. Brilliant. He has a phenomenal stadium. I've been there. It is unlike any other place I've ever been to. It is absolutely incredible. But the football team that he marches out there every Sunday is not incredible and has not been incredible and will not be incredible as long as Jones is the man making the decisions. I mean, the nerve, the absolute nerve to not have Micah Parsons on your team anymore and try to make that into a positive situation and try to sell to your fans that you're better off. Like, how on earth can anybody in their right mind lose a Micah Parsons and try to sell to your fan base that everything's going to be fine and better and that you're in a better position to win? Have you watched your defense play this year, Jerry? Have you watched how pathetic they are? Have you watched Russell Wilson throw for 450 yards? Did you watch Caleb Williams yesterday torch your defense? And in the previous two games, okay, 2 out of 3, both Williams and Russell have stunk. Have you watched that? Have you noticed that your defense can't stop anybody without Micah Parsons on the field? Have you noticed that you can't get to the quarterback without Micah Parsons on the field? And again, I look at their playoff utility since 1996. Four playoff wins. 4, only in the wild card round. What's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys? Very simple. It is their owner. What's wrong with the Sacramento Kings? Very simple. It's their owner. What's wrong with the Oakland A's? Very simple. It is their owner. What's been wrong with the New York Knicks for decades? Very simple. It is their owner. You want me to go on or should I stop? I think you get the picture. And that's my rant for today. Rhino, I'm sorry, man, that I kind of jumped the gun on you a little bit. I was so pumped up to talk about that I didn't even let you give me the topics. All right, I do want to get to Kyler Murray for a minute. Do you think that Kyler Murray just made a honest, not thinking about Michael Vick and being incarcerated for 2 years for the slaughter of dogs in the dog ring and how awful that was in the dog fighting? Do you think it even entered his mind, or do you think that it entered his mind and he didn't think there would be any problem with it?
I think it absolutely entered his mind. There's no, in my opinion, way that you couldn't make that association if you're taking that picture and you're wearing that jersey, the style of photograph that it was taken, the scenery it was. That said, Grant, I'm also not sure if it's, but is it a bad thing that he released it versus a bad thing taking it? If you want to take a picture, keep it for yourself. I'm sure there's plenty of pictures that people don't share publicly, but that just, even though Michael Vick paid his duty to the society, I just think it's bad taste still. It is.
Yeah, and he's apologized for it, and I accept his apology. So I go by an individual's track record,
Sure.
and I'm okay with his apology. So listen, I think that in our society, and I don't want to get off the rails here, unfortunately, apologies aren't accepted enough. Like, I haven't met a perfect person yet. I don't know about you. I'm 66, and I see them all the time on social media. I see perfect people on social media every day, but I haven't met a perfect person in real life. I'm trying. I'm still 60. I hope I have some time left to meet that perfect person. But to this point in time in my life, I haven't actually met a perfect person. So with that being said, I think that we need to be more, I think saying I'm sorry sometimes needs to be met with more of, hey, that person's genuinely sorry. I accept their apology. Let's move on.
Yep. This world could definitely use some more forgiveness. There's no doubt about that. I do want to ask you this, though. Do you really think the Cowboys situation changes once Jerry's not around?
Yes, I absolutely do. I do. Do I think it happens overnight? No. But yes, I do, because it can't get any worse. I mean, Rhino, think about that. We are talking about the New York Yankees of football. Okay, that's really what we're talking about here. They are the most prestigious franchise in the National Football League with the amount of money. I know there's a hard cap, but I'm talking about all of the resources. Their training facility is like, it's unfreaking believable. Players that want to put the star on their helmet, all of that. Think about that, Ryan. Since 1996, they only have 4 wins, and all 4 came in the wild card round. That's almost impossible to do.
It's insane. But I asked the question because how is it going to be any different than Al Davis and Mark Davis? You've got Stephen Jones waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I think that Stephen Jones, and I don't know Stephen Jones, but Stephen Jones to me comes across more of a individual that sees the ability to do the right things as it pertains to management. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But that's how I see it. I think that he will do what's necessary to get that franchise back on track. And Jerry is just, I mean, again, the record speaks for itself. We're talking about pro sports, Rhino. We're talking about a bottom line business. It's either you win or you lose. It's not about how much money you make. The fans don't give a damn how much money you make as an owner. They don't care because it's not going into their bank account. Fans don't care how much money owners make. They care about whether the team's good or not. That's all they care about.
So then what is it with Jerry? Is it just the hold that he has over the media to where the fans are being fed what the media want, or the media is repeating what Jerry's saying? Because when Micah Parsons was traded, I went to the station that carries the Cowboys, and they were like, this is a great thing. You know, they're putting Jerry's word out there. How does the fan base not push back, right?
The Cowboy fans have pushed back, and most of the Cowboy fans that I know and most of the Cowboy fans that I talk to are very much ready for Jerry Jones to be gone. So I think the Cowboy fans definitely are, and have been for years, done with Jerry Jones. They are. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It is. And as we say that, we go through that. We're part of that issue right now in terms of ownership. So,
well, what do you do as a fan when you have an ownership that is constantly bad, embarrassing? You can go on and on, right? What can you do as a fan? There's only a few things you can do. And I've told you, and I've been very open with this, I'm not one to tell the fans to boycott. It's not my style. I don't feel right telling fans not to go to games. I don't need to tell fans not to go to games. Let fans do what they want. Fans are fans. If they don't want to go to games, well, we see it all the time, Ryan. We see fans selling tickets to other people. Like, you know, the teams that are bad, you turn on the TV and it's full of other teams' colors. Or I don't use LA as an example because I don't think that's a good example, but there have been many other examples. Well, look at the Giants last night. Look at all the Kansas City fans at the Giants game. Well, the reason for that is the Giants fans are done. They're tired of paying for horrible football. And they're like, you know what? It's a Sunday night and I won't get home until 1 or 2 in the morning. I got to go to work or I got to go to school. I'm not going to go like make an effort and spend, $500 to watch a team who's terrible. And so they sell their tickets. I get that, so I don't have to tell the fans what to do. They know what to do, right? I don't feel right telling fans boycott, don't go to games. I've never felt right doing that.
It just seems like the fans in an impossible place, knowing Kings fans, growing up as a Kings fan, knowing the loyalty that you have and the brotherhood you have with the fan sitting next to you, whether it's Arco Arena or G1C, that's like one of those hardest decisions. That's like walking away from a marriage. That's not supporting the Kings. It's unthinkable. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of fans, believe it or not, a lot of fans have done that. A lot of fans have said they're done with the Kings. I get messages every day. on social media and on emails. And these are people I don't know. Some I do know, but they don't. They like I'm not. They didn't renew their season tickets.
Okay, so I can trust that if I know them and I see it. If somebody's telling me that on social media, how do I know that you have season tickets? How do I know that you regularly go to games? What I base my opinion off of is how many people are at games. And for the most part, the arena is usually fairly full.
Well, last year at the end of the season, it wasn't, correct? We talked about it on our podcast. We're like, wow, look at all the empty seats. So we'll see. It's a new season, but you don't have a new owner. And this is not just true of Sacramento. It's other cities that have had really long droughts and have really had very little to cheer about. I mean, if you take away the year three seasons ago when the Kings won 48 games when we're a 3 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take that away, I mean, think about that. The Kings have the last time they were in the playoffs, Rhino, was 2006.
Yeah, great. You have to kind of say it was an outlier.
Yes, correct. It's exactly what you have to say.
We look at this last 3 years as the Beam team. No, it was one really fun year when the NBA was injured and the Kings took advantage of their opportunity. You wish they would have made it further. They didn't. But yeah, complete outlier.
All right. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll take your phone calls if you want to get involved in this at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929 right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic, US 50 westbound at 65th Street. You're going to find officials on the scene of an accident blocking off the right lane in that area. You already got heavy rush hour delays, put an accident, get some pretty big backups. Watch out for that. Northbound, southbound I-5, top of the town freeway down to about Sutterville Road. You're still dealing with some heavy rush hour delays alongside with Cap City Freeway in between Marconi Avenue and Exposition Boulevard. Give yourself about 30 to 35 extra minutes. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hey, it's Grant Napear. Do you need a maintenance check or an emergency repair on a heating or cooling unit? DAS Mechanical will take care of all of your heating, cooling, ventilation, and energy needs. DAS Mechanical will provide you with a full consultation. They'll explain all of your available options so that you can choose the system that's right for your home or business. And DAS Mechanical serves both residential and commercial clients, and they offer a variety of money-saving solutions. Go check out their website, dasmechanical.org, and look at all of their 5-star reviews and their best of awards. And remember, special financing is available, including 0% interest for 18 months. Again, check out dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org. Their awesome reviews, their awards. Can't go wrong at dasmechanical.org.
It's an electric September at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Osvaldo Hernandez and his team have epic deals for you on all Chevy and Cadillac EVs before time runs out on the $7,500 federal rebate, which ends September 13th. Oz and his team are ready to get you into an EV of your choice. See the epic selection of Equinox, Blazers, Silverados, Lyrics, and Optics. Get your epic deal and get the $7,500 federal rebate. Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac on the corner of El Camino and Fulton. The time to get an EV is now. And the most epic deals are available at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. See Oz and his team and learn about additional in-person specials. Don't wait. The federal rebate ends September 13th. Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Epic cars, epic deals, and epic service. It's an electric September at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Call Oz at 916-929-8335.
So many things, big and little, make you uniquely you. Your hobbies, dreams, careers, family, and more. Addiction to drugs, including opioids and stimulants, can strip these away from you. Recover your life. Choose treatment for drug addiction and get back to what matters most. Find a provider and proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org.
Don't forget tomorrow, Steve Sands from NBC Sports and the Golf Channel, Sean Salisbury. So we talk Ryder Cup tomorrow. We talk college and the NFL. We'll also go over tonight's Lions and the Ravens game, with the Lions striking first on a heck of a drive to open up the game and an extra point away from going up 7-0. Again, I want to talk about what I touched upon on my rant with Jerry Jones. Like, fans can get frustrated over a short period of time. That's just part of sports. You're going to go through cycles. Like, for instance, being a New York Giants fan, yeah, they've been bad the last couple of years, but I've also seen them win 2 Super Bowls so far since the turn of the century. And I know we're talking 25 years. So, like, if you want to talk about how bad the Giants are and how bad they've been, yeah, that's true. But in 2011, I was at the Super Bowl watching them win, and I was watching them win in 2007. So that period of time is not long enough, in my opinion, to just like make a concrete observation about ownership, this or that. And I'm looking at teams that have new ownership, and you have to give them time. That's not the case with the Cowboys. I mean, Jerry Jones had great success with Jimmy Johnson, and a lot of people think the reason why they had the success was Jimmy Johnson, and I can't really dispute that. I just can't. And I'm just wondering, as you look at the Dallas Cowboys now, and you look at their future, there's no reason that any Cowboys fan can be optimistic about their future. They just can't. Like, you're not looking at this objectively if you're optimistic about their immediate future. So, and I hate to bring it back to the Sacramento Kings, but if you look at Vivek Ranadive, since he purchased the team, how many good decisions has he made? Seriously. The best decision that he made was hiring Michael Malone, the first coach that he ever hired. Unfortunately, he hired the coach before the general manager, and then that coach was fired when he shouldn't have been fired, right? I mean, if you're really looking at the entire body of work, that was his best decision. But he did it wrong. He did it backwards. And then that coach was fired for the wrong reason. What else has he done? And I'm not talking about keeping the Kings when he saved the team, and he did. I personally believe there would have been others in line, but maybe I'm wrong. But I'm never taking that away from him because he did do that. So, he will always be remembered for that. But what else has he done? And I mean this in all sincerity. What else has he done that you would look at as positive? Right? I mean, I'm sorry, I can't really think of any. I can't. What's he done that's positive? What has he done that you look at and go, wow, that was a really, really smart decision by an owner? I'm sorry, I don't think there are any. And if I'm missing something, please tell me.
Let me throw one at you.
Okay, go ahead.
He took a step back, went through the right processes in hiring Mike Brown and Monty McNair, and you had Monty as executive of the year and Mike Brown as unanimous first ever head coach of the year.
And what happened with that?
You can argue, depending on how you want to dissect it, maybe a little bit more on Monty, but you don't know what the pressure was on the back end from Vivek. But ultimately,
I know. I know.
Well, okay. I could go back to the summer of the Beam team when the Kings finally made the playoffs. You had some extra money to work with. There was no rush to re-sign Sabonis. He liked it here. He's played in small markets, and a lot of that money went to resigning Sabonis and extending him instead of improving the team, running it back. Was that a Vivek decision or was that a front office decision?
I'm not really sure, but I don't think that would have impacted the team greatly on the court anyway, regardless of whether they had signed him or not. I know for a fact that Monty McNair had his hands tied in making a lot of decisions with his role as general manager, the exact same way that Vlade Divac had his hands tied with a lot of things that he wanted to do. I lived it. I know. It's not a guess. I know because I lived through it. I didn't live through it with Monty, but I also know that the man didn't change overnight. So I already know. I know how he operates the business. I have a lot of friends that are coaches currently in the NBA, both head coaches and assistant coaches. I have a lot of friends who were part of Mike Brown's staff that I communicate with. And I can tell you flat out, there has been great interference and meddling from the owner. It's not a guess. It's not like I have an axe to grind with the franchise. It's the truth.
And it came to play, right, with Sam Amick's article about
Yes.
how Mike was fired, and that's the same owner that extended Mike that summer before, right? For me, if I'm looking at this 3-year chunk of when we said the Kings making the playoffs was an outlier, I think the real U-turn for me was right there, and then followed by that and bringing Doug in third, fourth off the bench to be the interim. While it might have been the right decision for those players, it's not the proper way that business is usually conducted, and it can come off as disrespectful to other people that are ahead of Doug on the bench. But then the Zach LaVine trade with Vivek's, just love for Zach LaVine. Part of the reason his contract's so high, Grant, you've said this, the Kings put a qualifying offer out there for Zach LaVine. To make that trade the way that you catered more to De'Aaron Fox than you did to your franchise, to bring in a guy that now it's kind of the Kings can't rebuild, that to me is where it's like, all right, Vivek's had his hands all over this directly for the last 12 months.
Okay, so I always look at a franchise, is there light at the end of the tunnel? And I would answer that question both yes and no with the Kings, because it looks like they did a good job with the draft. I say it looks like because we don't really know. We think we know, but
right.
Nick Clifford and Max Reynaud look like they are two guys that are going to be able to play in the NBA. Maybe I'm wrong, but right now that's what I'm going to go with. I look at Keegan Murray. I already know he can play in the NBA, and I still think his best basketball is ahead of him, but at least you have some very nice pieces. But then I look at Zach LaVine, and I'm thinking, gee, that's an issue. I look at DeMar DeRozan and his age and his minutes logged, and I'm like, well, that's not good. And then I look at a 32-year-old point guard who won't be part of the future when those other individuals that I just mentioned will be. And I'm thinking, well, is there really light at the end of the tunnel when I compare it to other franchises in the West who are set up so well for many, many years? And the answer to that question is no, not really.
Well, you hold your next 7 first-round picks currently, so you have those in your back pocket. Hope is going to have to come in the form of, like you said, the rookies turning out and being able to draft well. And Scott Perry, I thought, did a very good job, as you said, this past season or off-season drafting. That's where that's going to really develop. You have to, in my opinion, have enough of the parts to where the owner cannot deny it anymore. You might want one thing, but you can't go against City Hall, which takes me back to what you said with Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis. Those are two universal pieces that fit in every program in the NBA. How will that be handled? How will Scott and Vivek look at those guys?
And I was remiss in not mentioning Keon Ellis a couple of moments ago, so forgive me for that. The only way the Kings are going to get to a level where Oklahoma City, Denver, and Minnesota are right now, and again, this is the only way it's going to happen, is they're going to have to hit a grand slam home run in one of the upcoming drafts.
Yes.
That's what they're going to need. They need a franchise-defining player. And when they get that player, they have to recognize that that player is on their roster. Tyrese Halliburton is a good example. Now, we could debate all you want. Well, gee, would have he been as good in Sacramento as Indiana? I don't really know the answer. Nobody would ever know the answer to that question. But what we do know is he is a franchise type of a player. The Kings had that player on the roster, and they traded him, and they got a good package in return in Sabonis. But I wouldn't label Sabonis as a franchise-altering player. I wouldn't. Maybe some would. The only way you're going to get to a level is you're going to have to draft a absolute stud who is somebody that is without question the face of your franchise. And I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if they're going to be able to draft that individual or not.
Spot on. And I'm going to add on to that with this. You also have to continue developing your young talent. The Kings have been one of the better teams in the NBA. Case in point, winning the G League championship this last year, of seeing talent and finding talent that goes undrafted and then developing it in the system, in the hopper. And Keon Ellis is a great example of that. Mason Jones, who's now playing in Australia. Another name, Grant, that Jerry Reynolds is very high on, Isaac Jones. They've put a lot of work into him and have hopes for him to be a rotational guy this season. You got to keep that going as well, because you said it earlier this week or late last week, the sum of the parts is not as good as the individual pieces.
Correct. And that's the reality of the situation. And so when we get ready to start a season with training camp opening up on Tuesday, media day next Monday, the national forecast for the Kings is awful. We've gone over it quite a bit here over the last 3 weeks. The expectations, the power rankings, the win total for the Kings this year is not very good. That doesn't mean that all those people are right. They could be wrong. Nobody had the Kings winning 48 games and a 3 seed 3 seasons ago. I mean, things can change. But if you're looking at this roster, it just doesn't fit. The pieces don't fit. Now, we know we have Dennis Schroeder, who is a very qualified point guard, but most observers would say he's really a third guard. He's not really a starting guard. I disagree. I think he is a starting caliber point guard. I wouldn't put him in the upper echelon, but I'm okay with that. It's better than what you had last year.
Sure.
But we don't also know how he's going to fit with everyone else because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and the hope for me personally with Dennis Schroeder is you are one position closer to getting guys back to their natural positions. Ultimately, you want to see Keegan Murray at the 3. Scott Perry's talked about hoping to get him some looks at the 3 this year. And you get Domantas Sabonis a little bit more back down below the rim where he operates the best. Yes, he's good on the perimeter, but he's great cleaning up under the rim. And so I think if you can move closer and kind of piece this together and figure out who might be parts of the puzzle in the future years, then maybe you're starting to get back on schedule.
My biggest question with this team right now is how many players will Doug Christie play in the backcourt? Because if you figure that Schroeder and Levine are going to start, assuming there are no injuries, then you have Malik Monk, Keon Ellis, and we've heard the general manager, Scott Perry, talk about that he thinks Nick Clifford can handle the ball and play the point. And we haven't even mentioned Devin Carter, who we just heard from Doug McDermott is looking great in the scrimmages that they've had. So I do think there is going to be movement upcoming with a trade because I just think they have a logjam in the backcourt that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, certainly. And you've got to look at what pieces go together because I don't think, as you mentioned earlier in the show, you're just going to trade Devin Carter on his own. It means you're going to part with another piece. I think Doug, and you know Doug much better than I do, I think he's going to coach very similar to what he did last year, where he rides a hot hand. Now, where I draw the line in the sand is with some of these personalities, Grant. How is that going to hit a Zach LaVine if he's having a 1 for 10 night from beyond the arc and he finishes the game on the bench? What about a DeMar DeRozan? How will this group be able to negotiate that? And will Doug be able to ultimately kind of coach that through and make those guys understand that he's going to play the hot hand?
If I'm Doug, I don't really care how my players feel. I don't give a damn. This is my only chance to be an NBA head coach. I'm on a very short leash. I'm the lowest paid head coach in the NBA. And I'm going to do it my way. And if it doesn't work, I'll be able to put my head on the pillow at night. I'm not going to do things the way that people want me to do it.
Sure.
I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. I'm the head coach. I make the decisions of who plays, when they play. And if they're not on board, I'll play the next guy in line. Seriously. And I've talked to Jerry Reynolds about this over years and years and years. And Jerry would tell you the exact same thing about if he were Doug Christie, what he would do. So many coaches, when they have an opportunity, have so much pressure from the outside that they don't do things their way, and then they end up regretting it. I would do things my way. I've said this. I've been on record, and I'm going to say it again for those that did not hear me. Had Doug Christie not been retained after this past season, after the loss to Dallas, he would not have received an interview from any of the other 29 teams in the NBA. There's just no way. He wouldn't have been on anybody's list for a head coach. So now he's a head coach. He was given the role, in my opinion. He didn't earn it, okay? That's just how I feel about it. And now that he is the head coach, do the best that you can, but do it your way. Yes, listen to advice, but you're the one that's making the decisions. You're the one that's got to sleep at night if you lose your job, and don't have any second thoughts. Coach the way you want to coach.
And I hope that's what he does. I mean, there are routes to this kind of working out with all these guards. If this is what you roll into the season with, Jerry Reynolds mentioned you could just throw multiple lines of guys at the opponent just where you're pressuring full court. You do have pieces that are good at that. And that's something that Doug loves. He loves defense. He wants you to be the team that punches first. He wants you to feel that, or he wants the other team to feel you. So maybe there's that route there, but I think, Grant, the question becomes, how much of a leash does Doug Christie have? Is he going to have a season to coach his way? Is it going to be half of a season?
Well, he's got Mike Woodson next to him, who is a guy that's got a heck of a resume. And if it doesn't work, don't be surprised if, Mike Woodson slides over 18 inches. All right.
Yeah.
So listen, there are a lot of variables that we can talk about and should talk about, but that's what we're facing. We'll continue this conversation when we return. Final segment straight ahead on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports Traffic, taking one final look at the roadways. We got a hazard happening on I-80 westbound right at the Causeway midspan. Give yourself that extra time to work your way through that mess. I-5 at the I-80 interchange. You also got a traffic hazard slowing things down, and we're still dealing with some heavy rush hour delays throughout all of Sacramento, especially on I-5 northbound and southbound between Top of the Town Freeway as you make your way down to the US 50 interchange. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
It's Laramie the Golden Retriever with Vince Bloom the Big Guy.
The weather's getting cooler, but at Folsom Lake Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, the deals are hotter than ever.
How do you mean, Vince?
It's the Drive Into Fall event, and prices are falling like leaves on every Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram in stock. Listen.
During the Drive Into Fall event at Folsom Lake Dodge, save over $6,500 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 2-door Sport. That's over 17% off.
And I've got 5 at this hot deal.
Or rustle up over $10,000 off a new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Over 19% off.
The Drive Into Fall at Folsom Lake Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Even Laramie knows now is the time for a deal. Right, Laramie?
At Folsom Lake Dodge.
In the Folsom Auto Mall and online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Wrangler includes $44.85 dealer discount plus $2,000 in national retail bonus cash. Then SE $65.83.48. Grand Cherokee includes $45.25 dealer discount plus $5,500 in national retail loyalty and select inventory bonus cash. VINs S8667701, 629,387, 6694.58. See dealer for details. Expires 9/30/25.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Decisions determine results. So which path do I want to take? Help people in need or stand on the sidelines watching? Worry about how to pay for school or have my education paid for? Push myself and learn new skills or stay the same? My decision is to serve part-time with the Army National Guard, and my results will be life-changing. What will you decide? Go to NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters.
Football is back, And so is your big shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats from breakout rookies to elite quarterbacks and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Final segment on a busy Monday. Tomorrow, Steve Sands, NBC Sports and the Golf Channel. Sean Salisbury talking NFL and college football. So here's the point, Ryan, that I can't erase from my mind. Last season, after the Dallas slaughter in the play-in game at Golden One Center, the mood in that locker room was horrible. It was not good. The post-game press conferences, DeMar DeRozan was visibly upset, obviously not happy. I think the same could be said of Sabonis. And I'm not talking about not happy that they didn't win the game. I don't think anybody was happy with what was going on with the franchise.
Yeah.
Monte McNair resigned right after. Then we got Scott Perry. And then, so when you look at the offseason, what have the Kings done? Well, they lost LaRavia to the Lakers. They moved Valanciunas to the Nuggets. They drafted Nick Clifford. They drafted Max Reno. And they added Dennis Schroeder. So when I think about the pulse of the team after the loss to Dallas, I think if the Kings get off to a bad start, then I think this is going to surface real quickly, and I think it could be real problematic. And just so folks know, I've been in a lot of different situations. I've never been in a training camp that's not enthusiastic, not positive, not rah-rah. They're all like that. Everybody thinks that, hey, we can be better than people think, but that can evaporate real quickly if you get off to a bad start. And then you point fingers, there's talking behind the scenes, and it can go south real quick.
Numerous players that are part of the core of this team had their names in trade rumors this summer,
Yes.
so you don't know how that's going to affect things. I've got to believe, based upon Domantas Sabonis, who was definitely outspoken in his exit interview, what's the biggest thing we need this offseason? Point guard. So first time he approached Mike and talked publicly, he felt very positive about the communication, the work that Doug had been putting in, which Doug McDermott talked about earlier today. And it seemed like there was a better vibe there. And with Domas, for the most part, you see what you get. If there is an issue, you're not going to know by his play. But I look further down when it comes to Zach, when it comes to DeMar, pieces that it's no secret the Kings would be willing to move them. How does that fester if it does not go well? And how does Doug negotiate all that?
Yeah, if you start out, 10-20 or whatever with that brutal November schedule, and obviously that's would not add up. It would be less games than that. But, if you start off poorly, right, and you're like, oh, my gosh, we're so far out, you're going to have players' agents calling up Scott Perry and going, we need to get out of here, right? I mean, it's going to happen. You've got DeMar DeRozan. He doesn't have a lot of tread left on his tires, correct?
No.
You've got Sabonis, who is in the prime, who is a 3-time All-Star. He's going to want to go to a good team. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah. And what about the other end of that? How many games last year did we look at the score sheet and say, man, Keon Ellis only played 16 minutes or 12 minutes? We said the same about Valanciunas towards the end of the season. And, if we're saying that about Keon this year, or even Keegan, if his minutes go down, with the big conversation and expecting big moves or decisions when it comes to those two players, how does it affect that side of it? I am positive on this, Grant. I have to take Scott Perry at face value. I was critical of Scott, and I will admit that coming out the gate, he talked about defense, he talked about culture, non-negotiables. But then when we saw him put it into practice with the draft, he did his press conference night one after drafting Neek, and he explained his rationale on why he wanted to get Neek. And then he turns around and drafts Max, where that rationale is completely in line with what you heard night one and what we've seen kind of transpire. I'm going to give Scott Perry the benefit of the doubt. Now, you can get on him for the Schroeder signing and the amount of money that it was, but I want to see how that works through itself, because other than letting Valanciunas and LaRavia go, I can't say he's done a bad job so far. I am actually optimistic.
Well, he's got a coach that he wouldn't have hired, so he's dealing with that. I give Scott Perry 3 years, just like I give every general manager 3 years.
Yeah.
They deserve 3 years to see what they can do, and so I'm fully on board with Scott because I think he deserves a chance, just like any other general manager coming in deserves a chance to put a stamp on their team and turn it around. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. He knows that. He's not stupid. He's been around the block, but he's dealing with an owner that he might think he can handle, but when things don't go well, it's a major nuisance, and we'll see how Scott deals with that. And listen, I was very open about this. I'm not anti-Scott Perry, but I wouldn't have hired him. I would have hired a younger general manager whose career depends on their success or lack thereof. I mean, Scott is in his 60s. If this doesn't work out, Scott, gets on his horse and rides out of town and has a great life in retirement. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. I mean, I'm sorry. I would have hired a younger general manager. Again, that's not an indictment on Scott. I'm just saying what I would have done. I would have hired a younger general manager whose career, whose future depends on their success or will have a big part in their future based on what they do in Sacramento. That's what I would have done. But again, I'm not the owner.
Yeah, and you can flip the other side of the coin and say Scott's worked a lot behind the scenes, but never been the main shot caller as the general manager, and take that with the grain of salt of the owner that's in the situation. So maybe this is his chance to go out guns blazing. This
That's
is
great.
his chance to be the one that turned around the Sacramento Kings. And maybe he just says, I don't really care, Vivek. I'm not getting another job after this. So this is the way I'm going to do things. And I think that's why the fan base is anxious for all this to start.
Yep.
And it starts October 22nd.
Well, good. And we'll be covering it day in, day out. So we want your feedback. We want to know how you feel. And once the games start, then we'll have a lot more to go on. I think the fans are going to really like Dennis Schroeder. I think he's a good player. He's not a great player, but he's very serviceable. He knows how to play. He's got a good basketball IQ. And I think the Kings fans will enjoy him. I just do. I think that's going to be a positive. But you didn't mention a player with minutes, and I'm going to really be keeping an eye on Malik Monk, because I don't think Monk's going to be very happy when I look at the rotation right now and the minutes that will not be there for him. I'm sorry, I don't see it. And I could see him saying, you know what, this is ridiculous. Get me out of here. And I know he likes Sacramento. I know he likes Doug, but he's also now entering the prime of his career. And you tell me, Rhino, right now, again, we can't forecast trades, but with Zach LaVine, and say what you want about Zach LaVine, he's still a damn good offensive player.
Sure.
And with Schroeder, I mean, how are you going to be able to play all these guys and keep them happy? I think that's a real problem for Doug Christie.
It's going to be hard, or you're going to play really small, Grant. You're going to go really, really small. It could be that that's the way the cookie crumbles for Malik. I think Malik's on a fair contract. I think he has a lot of value, but I do also believe we knew right off the bat last season at training camp, things were not right. The team was not shooting three balls well. They were not on the same page with the media at times, Mike Brown and Malik specifically. So I think we'll get a fairly decent taste if things seem a little bit more organized. But keeping Malik off the floor is a hard thing for me to envision based off of what he has meant both behind the scenes and on the court energy-wise for this group.
Well, you could only play 5 guys at once, as Jerry Reynolds says. There's only 48 minutes in a game. And if you look at Zach LaVine and his usage under Doug Christie, it was enormous, the amount of minutes that he played. And you have an owner that likes the guy, and this could get ugly real soon. That's why I think it's imperative they win their first 3 games with their schedule upcoming. I really do.
And we have to be fair. Although Zach did get a good season in last year and played a lot of minutes, he has been traditionally injury prone. So it only takes one injury for this not to be a problem. And now you have depth at guard. So it can go each way for these guys. I think, Grant, what we're getting to is there's one name on the roster that's got a big circle around it that I think holds a lot of the fortune for this team, and it's Neek Clifford in terms of how the playing minutes are going to be distributed amongst the guards, because he's right there. He's a tweener between a 2 and a 3, but now Scott thinks he can play some 1.
I will believe that when I see it. And I just... So how many minutes, if that's true, how many minutes are we looking at for Keon Ellis this year?
See, that's the problem. Exactly. Somebody's going, the way we sit today, somebody is going to be left out. And
I'm hearing Devin Carter's having a great summer. He's never going to step on the floor.
Right. Because the place that he was needed was running the point. That doesn't mean he's a bad basketball player. It just means point guard is not his biggest strength, and nor was he drafted to be a point guard. So
correct.
They've got a lot. Doug Christie has a lot to figure out, but I'm confident in his passion for this city. He gets the fan base. And if anybody can figure it out, I think Doug can.
All right. Good conversation. Of course, we'll be talking a lot of Kings and the NBA in the coming days and weeks. Media Day is 1 week from today. Rhino will be out there, and then Tuesday is the first day of practice. So there's going to be a lot of conversation going on as NBA training camps will be opening. Can't wait for tomorrow to talk Ryder Cup with Steve Sands from NBC Sports and the Golf Channel. Sean Salisbury as well. My thanks to Doug McDermott of the Kings today. Great conversation during the 4 o'clock hour. Appreciate all of you. Can't wait for tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And I will be doing my podcast tonight right after the football game over on YouTube. Until then, or tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Grant Napear saying, so long, everybody.
It's an electric September at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Osvaldo Hernandez and his team have epic deals for you on all Chevy and Cadillac EVs before time runs out on the $7,500 federal rebate, which ends September 13th. Oz and his team are ready to get you into an EV of your choice. See the epic selection of Equinox, Blazers, Silverados, Lyrics, and Optics. Get your epic deal and get the $7,500 federal rebate. Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac on the corner of El Camino and Fulton. The time to get an EV is now. And the most epic deals are available at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. See Oz and his team and learn about additional in-person specials. Don't wait. The federal rebate ends September 13th. Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Epic cars, epic deals, and epic service. It's an electric September at Epic Chevrolet and Cadillac. Call Oz at 916-929-8335.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Hey, come on in.
Hi, Jack, in our subdivision.
Yeah, I saw your Suburban